another planet? Is Janet from 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 another planet?
The opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
The following program is rated TV MA LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Fuck!
Hello.
Sorry.
Welcome to the shit show.
I had to do it.
How you guys doing tonight? I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
I'm peachy. It's 2025. And it's funny. Every time I'm signing documents now, I put 2025. Went, man, I've been around a long time.
Me too.
But it's kind of funny. I have people. There are people that I know. Gary Nerderotic is actually 18 months younger than me.
Really?
Yes, he's 55, and he calls himself a boomer. He's getting old. He can't do anything. What are you talking about, young man? Shit, it's kind of funny. But yeah, because I'll be 57 next in March.
My sister's birthday's in March.
March 6th.
I'm doing well too.
Damn. Sorry.
The world is my oyster. So yeah.
You're rocking those headphones.
Yeah, I forgot to put my sign up, my shit show sign. Shit, I just realized that. Oh well.
Welcome to the shit show.
I was too busy building my DeLorean car. Did you guys see it? What I was finished?
No, I didn't see
the Lego one.
I saw some of it. I haven't seen the whole thing.
I had another phone. I was trying to use my other old phone to video it as another person.
Oh yeah.
And it kept disconnecting, or one time it came unplugged and it wasn't charged up and died.
Oh.
So, it was a pain, but I'm learning. I did it because I was just trying to do something and try to figure out different ways to do things on my channel. But
yeah, we had talked about that before.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. That's the thing. When you're doing that for the first time, like the first time you did a stream, remember? I was in the chat.
Saying, yeah, hey, I was crying. I can't figure out how to do this, motherfucker.
But again, I was actually telling this to Haya this past week. We all go through developmental stages. We crawl, then we start walking, then we run, and even when you're a baby, you're a toddler, you're a kid, then you're a young adult, then you're an adult, or you have to do adult things, and it's like, oh my, I have to take responsible now. So there's those pain points. And she went for a driving lesson, almost had an accident, almost. Oof. And I told her, the first time anybody does something for the first time, you're going to fail. You're going to fall. You're not going to be perfect. You learn from your mistakes. You learn from failing is part of the process. Builds character. So you got to stick it up there.
Well, the thing is, once you fail a few times and then you succeed, it makes it even that much better because you really
it's sweeter.
Exactly.
Yeah. And, exactly. Sorry.
That's a good thing. But what about you, Orange Hat? How are you doing tonight?
Well, as I said, I'm Peachy. The world is my oyster. I'm taking care of a few things around the house, doing a lot of shoveling outside, making
Yeah.
sure that we're able to get out of the driveway if need be, and yeah, stuff like that.
You're
you know.
closer. You're closer to Buffalo, right?
Fuck no, I'm on the other side of the state of New York. I'm up in the Adirondack Mountains.
Oh, okay. Which is more
Buffalo's
closer.
in western New York.
So you're more toward Maine, theoretically.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to figure out what area.
Yes.
I know you're not New York South. I knew you're north.
When is your birthday today? Six Nations.
Wait a minute. I never got anything. Never mind.
I didn't know. Happy birthday. I didn't realize that. But hello, Soy Base Jeremy. How are you? I know it's not your birthday today.
Six Nations King, you're a child. Just kidding. I'll be 57 in March. Just kidding.
Wow. But the thing is that we've had a lot of stuff already happening this year. And I got almost 9 inches of snow overnight and today. So it was beautiful. I went out and walked in it. It was almost up to my knees. That's how deep it was in my front yard, walking from my porch to my chicken coop. So
wait, what do you do in that situation if you have like 9 inches?
I've never had 9 inches.
That sounded wrong.
I know, that's why I said I've never had 9 inches.
We both did it wrong. Oh no.
It's okay.
Holy shit, man!
No, right?
Well, I was more concerned about the freaking chickens. The chickens.
Well, I didn't let them out of the coop because
they're not that tall.
Never been in. Now, about two or 3 years ago, I probably wouldn't have worried about it. But the more I've learned about things about chickens and stuff, I did, and I have 4 white chickens. So I thought, no, I'm just gonna. They've never been in snow before, and I'd rather not risk, them being seen on top of the snow by hawks and owls and stuff. So I just said, nah.
Oh,
I got 2 black chickens, 2 brown chickens, and then my white chickens have black feathers like mixed in because they're Easter eggers. So I didn't want to risk it.
So you have chickens of color.
Yeah, I have chickens of color. They're all over colors, and they lay colored eggs.
So the black chickens taste like soul food? Just kidding.
But I wanted to start out this tonight's show with something I thought was pretty interesting. Let me pull it up really quick here. What was the name of it? Okay, there it is.
Yeah, we gotta do that. We gotta clip that one.
Yeah. But, how do you deal with 9 inches, Janet?
Like I said, I don't.
I meant because I meant the snow with the chickens. I'm seeing. Well, think about it. 9 inches, and the chicken like walks through the. And he goes,
yeah, I don't know. I probably would turn around and run.
What is this?
But this is interesting. I saw this on my timeline. Okay, because remember. The first of the year, I did all day, almost a 9-hour stream. Okay, talking about the New Orleans guy, that ran over all the people, and because I was trying to get a hold of friends of mine, stuff that worked down the quarter and everything. Right. And I spent the whole day, and during that day, that guy blew up the Cybertruck in front of Trump Tower. Yep. And we slowly progressed and showed more and more stuff. You'd have to go back and watch the stream, but I just kept adding information from both things back and forth. And for a little bit there, I thought maybe they were connected because both the trucks were rented from the same company, and they were both electric vehicles too. I thought that was interesting. And then I watched a show with Sean Ryan's show because I like him. I watch him on Instagram, and he interviewed this gentleman that said he had gotten this guy, that Cybertruck guy, had gotten a hold of him through his email and said he needed to get this information out because he only had 30 hours or whatever. He'd only had a short amount of time. He had to have this stuff out before then. Because he was being followed and all this different stuff. It was really interesting listening to it. Well, I watched the show and I shared some of it, on a couple streams, and most of them weren't on YouTube because I did them on X and on Rumble. But what's interesting is everyone was saying, oh, it's clickbait, blah, blah, blah. They're full of shit. They're just trying to do this because people didn't like the fact that lots and lots of people were watching his show because he had this guy that came on there and he was ex-military, the guy that was on the show, and they were thinking it was FBI, you know, with plant and all this different stuff. Well, guess what?
Yeah, I heard about that.
I want to share this because this is the police or the FBI. This is the FBI person. See that the cops are behind him, but this guy right here is an FBI agent, and he's in Las Vegas. And he's giving an update on this whole thing that I just talked about. Watch.
Yeah, so we have confirmed that the document that he sent to the podcast, we know that he was the one that sent that document. That's correct.
On the cell phone of our suspect, we discovered a much larger 6-page, what we're describing as a manifesto. Mm-hmm. This is in addition to the previously released 2 letters and the email that was sent to the mentioned podcast host. On this particular 6-page document, there is material that we still have not been able to work completely through with our federal partners and the Department of Defense, and some of that material may be classified. So we will not be releasing that document yet in its entirety. You will see some excerpts from that document here in just a few moments. New evidence has also emerged that this death was a suicide and that a V-bid or a car bomb was used in the incident. We'll talk a little bit about that. Of particular note, we also have clear evidence in this case now that the suspect used ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, to help plan his attack. I'd also like to note that in these documents, you will see that the suspect believed he was being followed all the way from Colorado. I want to make it clear that our suspect in this case has never had a criminal history.
Moving on to another part of the digital forensics, the sheriff talked about how the suspect in this case used ChatGPT to plan out his attack. You're going to see a few of the entries that he posted. This is chronological by date, but he basically starts using ChatGPT, which is a generative AI, to be able to get information on how to conduct this particular plot. So ultimately, you'll see that he looks at trying to figure out the amount of explosives needed in order to conduct the explosion he was looking to cause. He also talks about, in the next set of questions, you'll see he's trying to figure out where to buy fireworks and how much of it to buy. He looks at the equivalence of those fireworks and how they compare to TNT and other types of explosives.
Wait a minute. I got to back up for a second. I want you to read that. I bet you didn't notice it. This is another thing that people were talking about right here. Just 1 second. Go back a little more. Come on. Okay. Now, I heard so many people in spaces saying, if somebody used a 50 cal to shoot themselves in the head, they would have no head. They would this, that, blah, blah. They went on and on and on about it. And I said, well, maybe I said, maybe he used the gun to start the bomb. Because remember, I thought the bomb was in the back, right? Not in the front. In the back, because he didn't want to live through the bomb blowing up, but he wanted the bomb to go off. So maybe he shot the gun over his shoulder or returned like this and shot into the back. See, I don't know. I wasn't in the truck. But then they were saying, well, he was already dead, that somebody killed him or killed someone else and put him in the truck, blah, blah, blah. So I started showing videos on my other streams that I'd done, showing a zoomed up picture of the guy's head moving around and him moving around in the vehicle. Then you see a flash on the floorboard. This is what was interesting. So instead of shooting to the back, he shot the floorboard for some reason. So maybe there was a detonator on there. I don't know. I bet more and more is going to be coming out. But see what it says right there? Will a 50 cal Desert Eagle pistol set it off? See, he did use the pistol to shoot and start the explosion, not realizing, or he did realize. See, that's what I'm saying. If he knew how well the Cybertrucks were made to keep something from coming into them, well, then he would know that it would keep it from going out, wouldn't he?
True.
So maybe he knew exactly what he was doing.
But again, could it? I think it's a mix.
Mhm.
I think that he knew someone was going after him. He emailed, but it was all set up. So he was dead when he was there. And then they blew it up. But they miscalculated the fact that the Cybertruck didn't blow up because they thought,
But that he was moving in the vehicle. You can see him moving his head and stuff inside the vehicle before.
they could have a contraption on the cadaver and do something. I'm saying
They could have, but I don't know. I just didn't.
I think so. I think it's a mix. I think basically he and again the whole idea of all of the stuff that's been going on, the Nashville shooter, the Orleans thing, all the things that are going on. The narrative is case closed. This guy did it. Here are the emails. Here's everything. So convenient that everything's available. And we didn't get any of the information because, again, they're putting out there what they want you to believe is the narrative. That's what I believe.
Yeah. And plus, it was something else in the. Did you watch the Sean Ryan interview?
You played it.
I know.
Last week.
We watched the whole thing.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. You and I watched it, but the thing is, remember he talked about the vehicles using some kind of propulsion. With magnets, or
gravimetric propulsion.
Yeah, okay, and different things like that. And then he talked about bombs that were able to come over the border.
Correct.
Right. So there's a lot of stuff in that. And then the whole thing about 2019, about them going in and purposely killing women and kids.
Right.
Stuff like that. So that's when we saw all that because we were there when it first came out. Now they're trying to say they can't release anything because it's, confidential by the cops by the government. Right. So it's just really funny how they're trying to backpedal, but it's hard for them because they realize that it's out already. You see, that's what this guy wanted. He wanted this stuff out. And he said the only way to get people to pay attention or to share it and stuff like that is to make a spectacle of it. And that's what he did. So I'm going to finish playing this so we can listen to the rest of it. But I just wanted you to see that because a lot of people were saying this, that, and the other about that gun, him shooting himself, that he wouldn't have a head. But I don't know. I just thought it was funny that I said, well, maybe he didn't have that gun to kill himself with. See, maybe he made a gun out of plastic. People do it all the time, 3D printers. And that gun melted. I don't know. And plus, another person said in one of the other shows that I did that you could put other caliber of bullets in this weapon, too, not just 50 cal. So, I've been really trying to dig into a lot of this stuff. And people who've been watching, that watch some of my stuff on a regular basis knows what I'm talking about. And plus, you can go back and watch them because, especially on Rumble. Because YouTube is a couple of times I haven't put anything on there because my channel wasn't working properly. But here we go.
You'll see he's trying to figure out where to buy fireworks and how much of it to buy. He looks at the equivalence of those fireworks and how they compare to TNT and other types of explosive material. On this next set of questions, there's a focus on the velocity of the bullet fired from the firearm and determining whether that would ignite the explosives. This is an important component. As you'll see when the ATF talks about the amount of explosives that he had and how they exploded, and a lot of those actually not detonating. Ultimately, that has to do with the research on ChatGPT, determined that he needed at least 2,000 feet per second velocity on the firearm in order to be able to actually cause a full detonation of all the explosives he had. And then finally, on the last one, he talks about this more about the amount of material he needs and also interest in how to buy a phone without providing any personal identifying information.
So the question is why does what he sent to the podcaster matter in our investigation and releasing of all of the documents that we're releasing here today? And I think it goes to show his mental status. It goes to show what he was thinking. It goes to show what his intent was or was not. Quite frankly, as you well know, I mentioned this in the first two press conferences. We're very well aware of all of the things that are out there on the internet that are being said about what occurred, what didn't occur, and we're working very hard to answer every single question that we have. Is there any validity to what he put into the initial email that he had sent out to the podcast? And I can't tell you the answer to that question at this point. There's a number of, I'm sorry. Would you want to comment on it?
Spencer Evans, Special Agent in charge of the FBI's Las Vegas division. In terms of a question about the validity of what Leibelsberger put out to the public, either in the two-page manifesto or additional documentation we're discovering, we're not speaking to the content. I can say, as Sheriff Corrin described and others, it runs the gamut. I mean, he's talking about feeling that he was, surveilled, guilt. You can tell there's, some anguish there, some frustration with the government. I mean, there's a whole host of things. So we haven't gotten into, what's legitimate, what's not. The only thing that, out of an abundance of caution, in as much as there's Department of Defense equities that speak to sources and methods or something else that would endanger folks overseas, that's not being released. But beyond that, we haven't vetted any of his writings to determine, what's legitimate and what was in his own head.
My next guest, unfortunately, is playing a starring role.
Okay, well, that I just wanted to share that. So I thought it was pretty, it put a light right on everything that that show talked about. So I'm hoping people are paying attention to it, because we really need to be paying attention, because we don't know what brought over the border or who might be involved. And, I don't trust the government right now. I really don't.
Yeah.
I don't trust doctors.
And again, it's everything. How do you say it? I almost said I want to go back to 2015, because 2016 is when everything went to shit or went insane, but it's not true. It's been going wrong for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And now it's not a question of going back. It's a question of going forward, evolving. And I'm going to do my part. And again, right now, when the news, it was like when they actually said that, the rumors about the news characters in LA, the anchor said, the rumors about there not being enough water. There's plenty of water. There's no problem with water. And then the reporter in the field said, yeah, and there's no water. And I'm going, they're inconsistent, because they don't want to show anything in California being wrong. And you had Gavin Newsom out there saying all this stuff. He just posted a letter to Trump openly, a DM, saying that let's work together. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'm done. I'm done with all of this bullshit. This guy, Gavin Newsom, is a scumbag. He's a fucking snake. He's just been a lifelong politician, and it's all about the grift. And again, he knows it. He's part of the pedo group. He's part of the whole sex thing. He's part of the adrenochrome bullshit. He's all that up. And again,
he was confronted by
a lady.
A lady. It's like, when are you gonna do stuff? It's like, I'm on the border trying to reach Biden right now. It's like, well, good. I want to be here when you get him on the phone. It's like, he's just trying to do everything to get rid of that woman. Right. Yeah. Because again, it is now time for accountability in the world. And the irony is we want authenticity, but I'm seeing now with AI how inauthentic it is, how everything's artificial. So you're having competing aspects. How in the hell did actors get so popular they're paid so much money? It's all part of the scam. They want you to be distracted. They want you to talk about who's marrying who, what's in this movie, and all that stuff, and not worry about what the government's doing. They're all influencing you to distract you, to keep you occupied. The same thing with sports. That's why people sit down and talk about football and then blah, blah, blah. No pun intended. Why do people go into the groups like playing D&D and all that stuff? Because again, it's a distraction from the reality of what's going on here. It's all bullshit.
Yeah, it takes you away. But everyone needs a distraction. Okay.
True.
Who wants to get up every day, get dressed, eat breakfast, get dressed, go to work all day, drive home, eat, take a bath, and go to bed? Is that what you want to do every day? No, I don't. I want to laugh. I want to listen to music. I want to tell jokes. I want to play games. I want to play with my chickens. I want to take care of my yard. There's lots of things, and that's all distraction because I don't want to sit and just worry about, oh my God, where am I going to get my next meal? Or am I going to be able to find the outfit I want? Stuff,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So every person has to live their own life the way they see fit.
True.
Period.
But when people, but the whole again, not to say I'm agreeing with him, but the manifesto, even Kaczynski's manifesto, is alluding to the aspect.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. Just 1 second. I just wanted to let
of
him
everything
know.
of everything that's going on, and especially who was it? Nikola Tesla and Kurt Gödel. There are two scientists, famously very famous scientists. If no one knows the story about Tesla, he died penniless, and because he basically was being watched. We know that Martin Luther King was watched by the FBI. We know there's a file on Trump. There's a file on Malcolm X. All these people. The government's doing all this crazy shit. So it's no far stretch to say that yes, he was being followed, and he knows this shit. But then again, they say let's shut this guy up, but then there are so many different weird consistencies. They both had electric cars. They both went to Turo. It was on the same day.
Mm-hmm.
It was like coordinated. It's all coordinated.
That's what I'm saying. So it's going to take time. But see, that's why I'm trying to stay up on both of the things, both of them, by updating as much as new stuff that I hear that I know is factual, because I'm trying to stay with anything that's coming from the people in New Orleans, friends of mine, or the officials in New Orleans. That's who I'm getting my information from for the New Orleans stuff. Right. And then the whole thing with the with this other Cybertruck thing, I'm just trying to go by the best I can with what the officials are saying there. And also, when I saw the Ryan interview, I thought, hey, this is interesting. I'm going to listen to it. And boy, it sure started sparking my attention just to listen to some of the stuff that was coming out. And I said, we just have to wait and see whether it was real or not. And I'm shocked that they've admitted that. You know what I mean? So, go ahead and watch that.
Beatrice wanted me to recap everybody. Basically, the recap is for what we've been talking about for the last 30 minutes is the incident, that explosion that happened in Las Vegas. There's new information coming out that points to it wasn't a terrorist incident. It had nothing to do with what happened in New Orleans. The shit going down, or the political crap going down in California, is basically what led to the wildfires. And unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff going on that's keeping the incoming administration from employing its plans. To give you guys a good idea of what currently I just read from John M. on Twitter. John M. usually comes into the shit show every now and then in the chat. But one of the things he said is Trump should have lawmakers draw up a new law that a president who has lost re-election cannot issue policy, laws, financial anything without an agreement with an oncoming administration, including emergency actions during the lame duck time frame between election and inauguration. Honestly, I completely agree. If you got or considering that Biden has banned offshore drilling, he's continuing to freaking empty our bank accounts over to Ukraine by sending weapons and money. He's continuing to, or he's trying to do all sorts of other stuff that is basically illegal. And he is sabotaging Donald Trump's plans for the nation after he gets in office. Donald Trump has to find a legal way to legalize the offshore drilling because of Biden's bullshit stuff, or bullshit executive orders.
But the thing is, an executive order can be gotten rid of with another executive order. It wasn't. Now the problem that I'm seeing is the things that got passed under that administration. All the trillions of dollars is sending to other countries. That's where Trump's going to have a harder time getting that stuff taken down, because it was.
You know what I would do?
Mm-hmm.
I would say this. Day one, if I was President Trump, by the way, this is a message to Ukraine. You have received all the aid you are going to get from the United States. Europe, it is your time to give to the people of Ukraine. No offense to the people of Ukraine, but as long as Zelensky is in power, fuck your country. I'm sorry, you have a tyrant in your goddamn government, and he needs to go. Mm-hmm. Not to mention, he is a fucking warmonger that is literally trying to start World War III by sending U.S. drones or drone strikes into fucking Russia. How's he survived so many no confidence votes is anyone's guess. Because unlike what everybody loves to say about Ukraine, it's not a republic. It's a socialist democracy.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loves to say, "Oh, vote for Ukraine, vote Zelensky 2024, vote Zelensky 2020," and I'm thinking to myself, you people are fucking freaks. Because
Zelensky.
Yeah, there were freaking Zelensky 2024 shit or signs on the fucking road and shit all during the 2022, 2023. And it's fucking horseshit because it's like, first off, this dude had his soldiers beating kids who made jokes about feeling sorry for some Russians. Beating child citizens of Ukraine. He was beating his own citizenry's children for simply having a laugh.
I only say that.
I care. You think I get to fucks what happens in Ukraine after that sort of shit? Or everybody knows that freaking all the money that Zelensky's been getting, vanity products or projects, photo shoots, fucking what are those things you play, or bands go, or concerts and shit. Sorry, I'm having a reset on my brain and whatnot. I'd love to recommend Tara Dublin for a counter perspective, but she's extremely bold and honest about it. That's the thing. We need people like that. We need people who are blunt, who are not going to bullshit. And that's what Trump is. A lot of people hate Trump because of all mean tweets. Here's the thing. I'm a former Democrat. I'm registered Republican. I even hate Republicans. I'm more of the constitutional, in-the-middle conservative kind of thing. Right. But I used to be a Democrat. I voted for Obama back in 2008. I registered to vote for the first time in 2008, and I was a Democrat. I changed over to Republican because after 2012 and Obamacare and all that shit, he fucked everybody over with Obamacare. And so that's my walking away, because then I realized it's like between Romney and Obama, I would rather write Miss Piggy and Walter Dunham, two fucking dummy puppets from ventriloquism and whatnot. And it's like, I voted for Miss Piggy and Walter Dunham for president in 2012 because I believed that puppets could run the White House better than Obama or Romney. And then 2015 came around, and I was not originally a Trump supporter. I did not like either Hillary or Trump. But then I started paying attention to both sides. And then I started paying attention to the debates. I saw the last debate. You want to know what I saw? This is what determined my vote in 2016. Do you have anything positive to say about your political opponent? That was the last question of the last debate of 2016's presidential debates. And Trump lists off a litany of shit that's positive about Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton's turn. Madam Secretary, he has nice kids. I'm like, fuck that. I am voting for Donald Trump, because that man at least knows that you have to list off positive aspects about people you genuinely do not like. You have to be able to negotiate with people who hate you. That is the
well. It is true. I do want to comment, Hillary, on one thing. Her death count. Very efficient. Very efficient at silencing those people that you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another reason why to never. I mean, a lot of people were floating. Oh, she's gonna do a 2028 presidential run. Yeah, when she knows she's not ever going to have to deal with Donald Trump again. That's the only time
she won't even be able to walk.
Possibly,
she won't even be able to walk or do anything by then. I'm sure they'll find somebody. And if the Democrats can't find somebody in 4 years that loves this country and wants to see it continue to grow, blah blah blah, then they're just doomed. Because once somebody's eyes are open to the truth,
who? Okay, I think I know who you're going to say.
Who do you think I'm going to say?
Fetterman?
No. I actually think that Fetterman is a moderate Democrat. He's actually willing to vote across the aisle, which
exactly because what happened today.
He voted for the Lincoln
Do you
Rally.
think that had anything to do with the thing that he had removed? His health, and it's causing him to think.
No, he didn't have anything removed. He recovered from a stroke.
Right.
I thought he had a big tumor or something on the back of his neck.
No.
I didn't know what that was.
But, the one that I want them to run, is AOC.
Oh shit!
That is a guaranteed.
I don't want to risk
win.
that.
That is a guaranteed win, and I guarantee you, this is why. She starts running.
Guaranteed win? What do you mean guaranteed win?
For us?
It's a guaranteed win for the Republicans.
Okay.
Because all they need to constantly run is AOC is an admitted socialist who wants to bring this country back to the days of that 40s country Germany or 40s or 1940s Germany. She is a person who supports taxing the rich, even though now she is among the rich, she's not going to tax herself. She, here's also Lady Beatrice. I'm going to have to tell you right there. Project 2025 was a hoax.
There is no 2020. Who the fuck believes in 2025?
Let me explain. Project 2025 was a hoax. Donald Trump is literally on record during the Biden debate saying, I don't know what this 2025 thing is. I have no interest in it. Yes, a couple of my things align with it, sure, 1 or 2 things, but it's nothing of what the Democrats were fear-mongering.
What's wrong with it? I don't even know. I don't understand.
They're saying they wanted to deport every single immigrant in the United States.
That never said that.
No, not just the illegals, but the legal ones.
No,
and I'm sorry, that's just not true. He could never do it, even if he wanted to, which he doesn't.
Who the fuck said that?
The whole
a bunch of the dumbasses.
Well, I guess there's dumbasses in the chat right now.
No.
Wear your mask. Wear your mask.
No. Hold on, Ruben. Do not insult my viewers. First off, Lady Beatrice is asking questions. She is not saying that this is or that these things are this. I'm explaining what these things is.
Go ahead.
She asked what 2025 was. I'm explaining what it is. And no, do not freaking insult the viewers.
It's a hoax. It's a hoax.
It is a hoax. They're saying that they want to do a federal ban on abortion when Trump has come out and or has already said on the record, I support abortion. First off,
and he said it's in the state's hands where it belongs.
Exactly.
Yes.
He said it many times, and that's where it does belong. Period.
Yeah, if you want to, again, like I say, if you want to move to California and have 25 abortions and do all that bullshit, then I don't give a shit. Go to the fucking failed state of California. Go to let the blue states burn. They're going to burn. They're burning down.
As far as I'm concerned, no. Here's the thing. What they need to do in the blue states is get more people to vote red. That way, if they eventually do get them to flip, and they actually do get the state governments to flip, because notice if you pay attention to the last election, to this one that just happened, Donald Trump, every state he won, including all of the swing states,
right,
or the other freaking what do they call them? Battleground states. Every single one of those states, voter ID required.
True, John.
Kamala Harris only won the states that required no voter ID.
Exactly.
That should tell you something.
Yep.
That should actually let you know that only states, including sadly New York, because we have a tyrant here in New York State.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Kathy Hochul, and she's
Lady.
we're uncensored on my channel, folks. I will say the fucking game. She's a fucking cunt. Because she doesn't understand how to govern. She governs for Democrats. She doesn't govern for the state of New York. But when it comes to voting laws and voter ID, when it comes to any election, voter ID should be required, and proof of citizenship should be required, because these are votes that are happening in this fucking country.
Mm-hmm.
If you are going to vote in this country, you need to be a citizen of this country. That is common sense. That is what our founding fathers intended.
Right.
The right to vote is a citizen's right. It is their privilege. It is not given to those outside of our country, because that is what's known as treason and foreign influence.
Yeah, because honestly, if you think about it this way, the next election, we might as well say, every country, anyone in the world, if you want to vote, give us your address, and we're going to mail you a mail-in ballot. You might as well do that, because that's what we're doing. That's exactly what we're doing. Because anybody and their brother, we don't know who they are, that can just wander over here and come in and vote and then leave, because they don't have to prove who they are or anything. It's ridiculous. That is why you have driver's licenses. That's why you have social security cards. That's why you have any of the other things that you might have, a library card, for Christ's sake, to prove that you live here, that you have an address here, that you work here because you're paying taxes here. So you have the right to vote and say, fuck you to the government if you want. But if you just walk in here and just have your hand out, why do we owe you shit? We owe you nothing. You have not done a damn thing to earn anything.
Do you know that they arrest people that go into Mexico illegally?
Yeah.
Yep.
We're the only country in the world
it's
that just lets
breaking the law.
anybody and their brother come in and do whatever they want.
And the southern border, Guatemala, they do the same thing. They arrest them.
Norway, you can't just go there and become a citizen.
Correct.
Can't do that in Canada either.
Right.
So even anchor babies aren't allowed in other countries. See,
I
don't know. We're just letting our country up. But the next thing I would like to bring up is another thing that I thought, before we get into the other subjects, I thought this one was pretty interesting, because it did just happen. So I thought we'd discuss this topic right here. Make sure it's turned up.
Yeah.
What happened? Oh, right.
Editor Jonathan Turley, Fox News contributor, George Washington University law professor, and constitutional law attorney. Great to see you both, my guests for this period of our hour. District Attorney, liberal Alvin Bragg, who ran as many Democrats in high legal positions across this country, ran threatening the freedom of Donald Trump. Lawfare became even a word that voters were using. Mm-hmm. Did Alvin Bragg, Jonathan, get what he wanted at all?
Oh, I think that he did. This is enormously popular with his base. This was a thrill kill, and this was the thrill. And ultimately, this court imposed no punishment at all, but did give Trump's critics what they wanted. That is to label him as a convicted felon. It's sentencing by soundbite. This is now going to be repeated like a mantra in the media as he takes his oath of office, that this is the first convicted felon to take the oath, even though this case may not last. I mean, the verdict against Trump has a very good chance of being overturned. The verdict against the New York legal system is going to be far more lasting. It allowed itself to be weaponized. It allowed itself to be the product of lawfare. And that's going to leave a much more lasting mark as the verdict on Trump.
Look, I knew that this was a thing. When I traveled to Georgia for that all-women town hall, Carrie, there were people using the word lawfare in conversations that I was having with voters. And it was resonating with them exactly what that was. So it wasn't just one of those hashtags. They said they knew what was going on against Trump.
And I'm looking at. I'm sorry, what?
You okay?
Okay.
Okay, we've lost audio
okay?
with her. Jonathan, would you like to fill in on that?
Well, I think that ultimately what you're going to come out of this case is a true mandate for Donald Trump. One of the greatest advantages that he had during this election was this trial. That is, when he was under this gag order and couldn't say anything, he said a great deal by walking out every day and facing the cameras. The public did not like it. This is the type of thing they see in other countries where the legal system has been weaponized against political opponents. And that did resonate with the public. They did view this case as lawfare. And this sentence will only increase that mandate. One of the priorities of Trump is to try to break the culture at the Department of Justice and the FBI that has been used so often over the last number of years, not just with this, but also the Russian conspiracy case. That's a hardened silo. That's the most difficult agency to reform. But this sentence gives him just that much more of a mandate to say that things have got to be changed here. It is a terrible moment for the New York legal system that it's come to this. I have great respect for the New York legal system. It was one of the premier systems in the world. And this is a really sad day for them more than it is for President-elect Trump.
You know, it was interesting. I wrote down, as I often do, what you said. What comes out of this is a mandate for Trump. And the way I'm reading what you're saying, too, is that Alvin Bragg did something that a lot of politicians couldn't do on the trail. And that was unite people from different walks of life and even ideologies together around the idea of going after an American citizen who wants to lead the greatest country in the world with law that was bending to their favor at every turn. I mean, so he does have that political, I guess, check that he can mark if that's what he was looking for. I want to know what it means real quickly, and let's bring back, because I think we've solved the audio issue here with Carrie Urban. Carrie, what does this mean for the American people? Let's talk about that. But also, first, what does it mean for Trump?
Hey, mainstream media, better tell the truth. Well, as you're saying that, Trump supporters are walking by right now. They're holding signs about political persecution, about the weaponization of the Department of Justice, and their message is loud and clear. They are tired of this, and that's why they went to the ballot box in November and voted decisively for Donald Trump, which I thought was a very effective point that he made. At one point, he leaned forward on screen, looking at Judge Marchand, and said, the people were watching the trial in your courtroom, and they voted for me. It was decisive, the swing states, all of it. And, you know, Andy McCarthy made this point in an earlier hour. You know, Donald
Carrie,
Trump
excuse me 1 second. My team is telling me that we can, I mean, they're listening to you, so they've queued it up. Let's watch it together. This is the president-elect Donald Trump from his sentencing just a short time ago.
It's been a political witch hunt. It was done to damage my reputation so that I'd lose the election, and obviously that didn't work. And the people of our country got to see this firsthand because they watched the case in your courtroom. They got to see this firsthand, and then they voted, and I won and got the largest number of votes by far of any Republican candidate in history, and won, as you know, all 7 swing states, won conclusively all 7 swing states, and won the popular vote by millions and millions of votes. And they've been watching you try. And I think it's a disgrace to the system. I was under a gag order. I'm the first president in history that was under a gag order where I couldn't talk about aspects of the case that are very important. I guess I'm still under, so probably I won't do it now. I assume I'm still under a gag order. But the fact is that I'm totally innocent. I did nothing wrong. In the meantime, I won the election in a massive landslide. And the people of this country understand what's gone on. This has been a weaponization of government. They call it lawfare. Never happened to any extent like this, but never happened in our country before. And I'd just like to explain that I was treated very, very unfairly. And I thank you very much.
Does that gag order still exist, Carrie?
I'm sorry, Harris, can you say that again?
Does the gag order still exist?
Well, that's a point that Donald Trump made. He says, you know, it probably still does as I'm sitting here. But no, that would be over now that the case has that he's been sentenced. But Harris, going back to what we were talking about people being fed up with this lawfare, here's a sign that a person who sat in the trial, a local person, just handed to me. Look at that. Rashawn
Pull it
Bragg,
to your left
political
a little bit.
persecution.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
Lawfare. See,
you got
these
it.
These are the kinds of signs that I'm looking at right now. People are handing these things to me. Look at this one. Rashawn Bragg, thank you. You helped reelect President Trump. So this is the kind of sentiment that's being espoused right now outside the courtroom. They see through all of this. And as Donald Trump said, and I thought it was a very effective argument, he said, I'm sitting here because my accountant labeled legal expenses, and now I've been indicted. He also pointed out in the courtroom that a former top official from the Biden Department of Justice was sitting there because he had decided to take a severe career downgrade and go join up with Alvin Bragg and help him prosecute him. And so I think people are tired of this, as evident by the fact that there are only Trump supporters here outside the court today. There was no one else. There were lots of Trump flags. And I do think that Donald Trump may be vindicated on appeal. I think he has a real chance.
Jonathan, here's a question that I haven't heard answered recently. What happens now with Stormy Daniels, the former sex filmmaker who actually owes for legal expenses Donald Trump hundreds of thousands of dollars? When does she have to pay up?
Well, that's a subject of other courts to whether she will be compelled to make good on that debt. There's going to be a great deal of litigation. Well, she's required to pay the money, and I think that ultimately they're likely to pursue that. But they're going to have their hands full going forward. This case is likely to be on appeal for at least a couple of years. It's going to try to work its way towards the Supreme Court. For the Trump team, the important thing is to get out of the vortex that is the New York court system. Yeah. I mean, they have been really held there for a long time. They've taken what are called interlocutory or mid-trial types of appeals. Those appeals rarely work. They are disfavored, as we saw last night when the Supreme Court said, we're not going to suspend this sentencing. But now they have a chance to get out of the New York court system, ultimately go back to the United States Supreme Court. And this case is truly a peddler's wagon full of reversible error. I mean, it's hard to really pick what you want off that wagon in terms of reversing this case. But a couple of the most notable ones is that we still don't know what the jury decided. We don't know what they ruled in their verdict as to the motivation of what actually occurred. The judge said, look, you don't have to decide why he did these actions. You can pick from this menu and you don't even have to tell us. Well, that shocked many of us, that the defendant and the public still does not know what the jury found as to the conduct of the next president.
Yeah, but the prosecution never cared about that. This was never about whether or not something that should be adjudicated will be adjudicated. This was about them and their political ambitions. And I don't think the 76 million plus voters, Jonathan and Carrie, ever had a doubt about that, which in part is why he's in office. Good to see you both. We are not.
Okay. Well, the one thing I wanted to say about that before we move on or anything is the fact that Michael Avenatti is in prison. He was the lawyer for Flowers, right? And she lost, and she had to pay. She's supposed to be paying him $300,000 because she went against a non-disclosure agreement. Just like I said, people sign them all the time in business. Okay. Right. And it's a legal document. And what good is any document that's legal if nobody's held accountable? If you sign a document saying, okay, I'm going to buy this car and I'm going to pay this much money every month, and then you never pay. And then they say, well, you can't take the car from her because she needs it for a job. Well, then how does the car company make any money? You see? And then that means that the whole law system is going to collapse because nobody's held accountable for anything, any documents or anything. There's no law. You see what I mean? So it's got to be fixed to where people can't just make up shit, lie about stuff. I mean, look, we have all these people in jail from January 6th using fake bullshit videos and stuff like that. They didn't even get all the evidence to even go to court with. You know, these people were set up and put in prison for misdemeanors. Nobody was charged with insurrection, not one person.
Correct.
Okay, so the whole thing is a farce. Our system is jacked up and needs to be stripped and fixed. That's the only way, because I can tell you right now, if it was you or any of us on this panel, it wouldn't matter. We'd already been in prison and they threw away the key.
Right. But what's so interesting is, you know, everything that's been happening in the last 8 years, basically, or beyond, it goes deeper, and I've talked about it in the past. We want authenticity. We found each other. We talked about this last week because we saw what's going on here. Are we alone? This is crazy. We found each other, became friends because we all have the same cultural viewpoint. Live your life. Be happy. Do what you want to do. If someone wants to run around and what is the whole? It's the demolition man. You know, I want to eat a steak. I want to smoke a cigar and all that stuff. The Dennis Leary speech. I want to live my life. But what they did, the left took it to no, just like Demolition Man, you will do what we want. If you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, because you want a better society. It's all stemming from the Great Society, all stems from Fabian socialism and economics, Keynesian, all that stuff, Cloward and Piven, all these different things that we're trying to coerce and control. And they're doing it at every single level. We talked about the idea that you know, that we want you to follow the Hollywood actor, or what's the influencer. And again, what's proven in this election, that all of them were full of shit. The GoDaddy podcast was full of shit. You know, Anna Kasparian is having a awakening about things. People aren't realizing it. And you have Gavin Newsom talking the way he did to that lady, you know, saying, hey, it's local here. No accountability, no authenticity. And that's a thing. The culture shift is changing, where we want to have real people having real thing. And again, who is more real in our lifetime than Donald Trump? He was a darling of the left, or darling of the, not I said left, I'm sorry, darling of Hollywood.
Well, he was the darling of the left until he ran for president.
Hollywood, you know, rappers, all this stuff. They loved the guy. And then I would watch NBC. The last show, again, I don't want, the only time I watched NBC, I stopped watching it when Seinfeld went off the air. And I came back to it only because of the Celebrity Apprentice, to only see Trump and see what he talked about and see how he ran that show. That's the only show I watched until he left. And I stopped watching because he is an entertainer. He is a showman. He is a businessman. And what he has done in his whole life to New York, going back to New York in the 70s, I remember the Warriors, the movie, how they did that. The subways had the graffiti and all that crap. And then in the 80s came around, they started going after it. The 90s with Giuliani and what he did, how he changed New York and cleaned it up. And then what they did to poor Giuliani also during this whole 4 period. And again, they were basically Time magazine. What happened to Giuliani? Why is he now supporting Hitler? And I'm going, this is Time magazine. So ABC, NBC, CBS, they used to be Walter Cronkite used to hear these news. No, now we don't watch it. David Muir can go fuck off. We don't care. Johnny Carson, David Letterman to a certain extent, SNL, made fun of everybody. Now they didn't. And now we don't watch it anymore. We're on YouTube. We're watching it ourselves, and we're basically the peanut gallery to the shit show that we're in.
Yeah, 100%.
And how that works.
But again, because we want authenticity, and we see it in him. And 2025, for those that went out there, in my opinion, is a renaissance of America. This whole year, it's going to be. I think it's going to be akin to the 1980. Was it the Olympics? The Winter Olympics. There'll be a resurgence of America. we're going to have our 250th anniversary, and Trump has already said, starting in Memorial Day this year, leading up until 2026 July 4th, state fairs. So business is coming back. Every time that Trump has been talking on his conferences in Mar-a-Lago, he has some billionaire. SoftBank came, India came. I'm going to invest this much money in America. I'm going to invest this much money in America. That's what we want. We want, and again, they're trolling him. Oh, he can't go. He can't take Mexico. He can't take Canada. He can't take Greenland.
Greenland. Yeah.
I actually want to say something on that.
Go ahead.
He can. Go ahead.
Him saying that, oh, I'm going to buy Greenland. We're going to buy this. We're going to buy that. That is literally a ploy. It is a ploy to basically let people know, look, we are not fucking playing around. You fix your fucking shit, we'll fix it, or we're going to fix it for you. Now, he doesn't need to buy Greenland. He doesn't need to buy Canada. But he did tell Canada, look, you're going to fix your shit, or we're going to fucking tariff the shit out of you. Tariffs are actually, a lot of people say, well, tariffs drive up inflation. Tariffs do this and that. I don't know too much about using tariffs, but all I do know is that he uses them like chess pieces on a board. And pretty much every time he threatened to use tariffs against these countries while he was in office the first time, they all backed down.
Exactly.
They all said, okay, let's talk. And yes, he's doing it to piss them off. And the media is eating it up. Oh, he's going to do this. He's a fucking fascist. It's like, you guys are so fucking pathetic. And when it comes to the media, because this is another thing that we have seen over the last 8 years, and there have been reports. I remember seeing these reports way back in before even, or this was back in 2017 or 2018, that it was reported that the heads of the news agencies, MSNBC, CNN, ABC, and all of them, they had their higher ups give orders to their reporters. You are not to report on anything positive about Donald Trump.
Damn.
You are not to give him any praises. You are not to give him any positive news. We are only going to focus on the negative. We want everybody to fucking hate him. After that happened, and then during the Biden administration, we all saw how they were basically mouthpieces of the government. How they were saying it without even freaking hiding it. The Biden administration is asking the press to say this, to say that. I am sorry. At that point, they need to look into. There was a thing called the Fairness Doctrine. Now, yes, it is unconstitutional. However, I would introduce legislation for something that is called a new Fairness Doctrine, where, yes, they are allowed to report on anything they want. However, it should be legally clarified that if you are giving an opinion piece or you are not reporting all of the facts, then you will be, or then the government has every right to label you with an emergency declaration that you are not providing all the facts. And then, yes, or I'm not saying that a government media should be handling this. No, that would actually make it a non-free press. But they have acted on behalf of the government. They are no longer, or they should no longer be considered journalists or a press or a member of the press. If they decided to sell their souls like they did over the last few years, they should not be considered members of the press or protected by that First Amendment right. As soon as they became corporate, like they did, honestly, corporate press shouldn't even be considered press, because that was never the goal of the founding fathers when they wrote the freedom of the press. They wanted the press to be respectful of all sides, both right and left. You had, or they trusted them, or they gave them a sacred trust that you report on all of the facts and let the people decide on what to believe in. Unfortunately, you have bitches like Mika Brzezinski saying back in 2018, it's not Trump's job to influence the people. That's our job. She literally said that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is that not news? How is that not? These things are all over fucking YouTube. Now,
they had a line in, what was it? V for Vendetta. We don't report the news. We don't make it up. We report it.
We don't make up the news. That's the government's job. We just report it.
Yeah.
I know the movie.
But what's so scary is, what year was that movie take place in? 2020.
I believe 2020-ish, 2024-ish.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah.
And then again, that speech that he did is exactly what's going on, and it's true. And I take responsibility. And I said it in the video I did, God, back in February of 2023, I believe. Who was responsible for the mess that's out there? Me. I take culpability for my inaction, because I like politics, but I only vote presidential. I never vote local because I'm in Chicago, and they're idiots. So I just don't want to vote for anything. So I don't.
I mean, that's,
but I do now want to move somewhere where I can be part of a community, because I want some community and all that stuff. So yeah, I'll do it, because she talks about it. She talks about doing like the PTA, or doing working for helping out the school district or the churches, or all that stuff, helping the community. And I say, okay, we'll do that, because she wants a better world for her children, our children in the future. And that's what we want for. And again, I get it now, but I was very indifferent to local government because it was just so inept. But it's no longer inept. It is criminally insidious what they do. So that is why people like myself are now going to get involved, because this shit is done. And the thing is that and why did they go after Trump so much? Because George Carlin said it best. There's the illusion of choice. You think you go to the grocery store and you have all these choices. It's all from the same company, or 7 companies. All these products are just, everything's corporatized. Music, literature, news, Hollywood, television shows, everything, pharmaceuticals, business. It's all corporatized to make you want to consume, and not question a thing. How they put you in schools, how they give you the jabs when you're a baby and all that stuff, all the things that can cause. And they want to say, oh no, it's all conspiracy. Continue, just drink the Kool-Aid. You're fine. And Trump saw this, and he plays within the system. He's a master within the system. So that's why it was they said, well, why should you pay less taxes than the secretary or whatever? Well, that's what the law is. If you don't like it, change the law. And that reaction was because I read the law documents and the law, and I'm following the law. If you don't like it, change it. And they basically said, how dare you say that? But that's the whole idea. So it's a pantomime. Republican, Democrat, it's all a bullshit show.
But the people that were saying that at that time, I remember how big a stink that was when they were all grilling Donald Trump. And I was like, the people asking those questions, well, how can you think that that's fair? They were doing it. Every single person that owns a business, has employees, tries to find every way they can to save money on their taxes. And
think about who was it?
More money for their business.
Who is it? Dan Crenshaw, AOC, what's her name? Nancy Pelosi. You look at their track record of stock purchases or net worth, and it's exploded. And I'm going, man, how good that, like Hillary with the cattle futures. How impressive that you make so much money and real quickly,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
after they're elected, they make a lot of money.
Exactly. How does that happen? Again, it's all
the funny thing is, there are actually Democrats and Republicans who actually agree with this legislation that they are trying to put out. Unfortunately, they do not have all the votes or enough votes to get it passed. However, they will continue, or I am willing to bet when Donald Trump takes office, it's like, you're going to fucking fold or you're going to piss off the American people even more. We've already given him a mandate. And honestly, yes, fucking fall in line, do as the people have decreed.
Right.
And now, does that mean give Trump a blank check to do whatever the fuck he wants? Absolutely not.
Yeah, that will never happen
within the
anyway.
law.
So many people hate
Keep
him.
it within the law.
But thing is, again, within the law, recess appointments. I want him to exploit the law and do everything he can to get everything in. All the judges, all the laws, all the things.
Yes,
just do it.
And that's another thing. Look how impressed everyone was, and more people's eyes opened when they started seeing Trump putting his team out, who he was picking and why he was picking them. More and more people
going on a unity ticket.
Yeah, the thing is, though, it's not just that. It's the fact that people are starting to realize, this guy, just like I said, I wasn't all for Trump either. I liked Ben Carson. I've said it a million times. But the more I thought about it and listened to what he had to say, I was like, this guy could, if he tries to run America more like a business and looking out how much money we spend on this, what are we doing this for? Why are we doing that? How does that help our country? That kind of attitude and the way he was looking at it, I was like, we need that. And man, do we need it now. I mean, this last 4 years has just devastated our country. We are trillions and trillions and trillions more dollars in debt than we were before Trump went in the first time, and our great grandkids are already in debt and they haven't even been conceived.
Yes,
it's
Trump.
Very thought. So, but
every president since 2000 has been adding to the national debt. As much as a lot of people hate Clinton didn't add anything to the national debt. I don't even think there was a national debt under Clinton. I can't say for sure. I can't remember for sure.
Yeah, but that was thanks to
Congress.
Congress.
Interested in politics at that time.
That was Newt Gingrich's help with because again, right after he was elected, in the in Clinton's second midterm of his first. That's when the Contract of America happened, and then basically Congress was taken back by the Republicans after 50 years of Democratic rule. Yeah, that's why he did it. No, Gingrich.
Okay, well, I'm ready to go to the next thing, which is the fires. I would like to.
One last point.
Okay, go ahead.
A lot of people love to say that we are nothing but blind Trump supporters, and that I find completely disingenuous because everybody loves to. Or I've had people tell me, "Oh, you think Trump's or everything Trump says is gospel?" And it's like, no, I don't. And if you don't believe me, I challenge anybody who watches this channel, watches my channel, or watches my stuff. Go back or search some of my content. I have literally on record saying that Donald Trump is a fucking retard when it comes to certain things, such as when there's all these shootings, when people were playing video games or losing game tournaments and stores. And he agreed that all these violent video games are leading to people shooting. And I'm like, actually, no, Mr. President, I think you're a retard in this situation because you're rather ignorant. And you really should look it up, because if it wasn't for violent video games like Mortal Kombat, the original one from the SNES and whatnot, if it wasn't for those violent video games, I would have probably had a darker future than where I am today. I used those games literally as an outlet so that I wasn't hurting people. Because yes, I was an angry little fuck back when I was in school, back in those days. I was getting picked on, I was getting bullied, and all that stuff, and I didn't really want to do anything because I was afraid I'd hurt somebody. And so when I could go home, play these video games where it was violent, and play all these other shooting games like on the Nintendo, Contra, and all those other ones, I played them basically as therapy. And if it wasn't for those games, I would have probably
But
gone after a lot more kids.
But before video games, what did we do? We play football or whatever, right? Or whatever we do at referee.
We played all those other things too, yeah.
But you should. But again, I want to know what's the difference between going out and playing football or boxing or like physical exercise, or in your mind killing somebody on a video game. There's no equivalent.
Well,
to
would
me.
you rather kill him in your mind, or would you rather go to prison for killing him in reality?
But that's a cop out. Again, I still think there is some viability
No, it
to.
isn't. Everybody needs therapy, and each person has to be dealt with individually, just like you. Some things work for you, but they wouldn't work for me. See,
right?
When I was in high school,
that's why we can't just go. It's a blanket, whatever, because there's no such thing. That does not work in any situation.
Don't work.
But the reason I say that is because, again, we used to be able to take your gun to school, and now we can't. But I think but I'm not saying it's not the video games. It's not that. I'm saying we don't have the family. We don't have a father and a mother. They poo-pooed that because, again, that was the main focus of what they wanted to do. They wanted to break the nuclear family. They break up the nuclear family, break up the black families, break up the Hispanic families, break up the white families, so that they would need this. And then
instability.
Yes, and that's why we have these young men who have been treated like shit, and they turn to have an outlet, and they need the outlet. And I get that. I get that completely. But the point being now is we have to address changing these men from acting out violently to acting out constructively. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
When it came to me
That's all
in
I'm saying.
football, or when I was in high school, the high school coach literally begged. It's like, dude, why don't you play football? You could take your anger out on the field. And
exactly.
I told him, it's like, look, one, most of your players absolutely freaking hate me. Two, I do not want to get on that field and accidentally kill somebody, because that's how much rage was built up in me. And I told him that. That's how much anger and rage is built up in me. If you freaking let me onto that field, I will hurt somebody to the point where I myself will feel bad. I am not a person that wants to go out willy-nilly and be unlocked like that. I don't, because I could really hurt somebody. I didn't want to. So I told him, it's like, as long as you guys have your little rituals of going after younger kids in this high school, I will not do a sport like football, because I was one of those kids that the freaking jocks like to pick on. And you know what? I kept my word. I didn't join football. I told them, or I'll do something a lot more therapeutic like golf. And I loved golf.
Right. Gotcha.
But anyway, the fires got onto that.
Okay, well, I wanted to move on to the next thing, because I got like 3 different type of things I want to talk about with this, and we can all discuss about it, whatever. But this is a helicopter records home set ablaze by the Eaton fire in Los Angeles. Okay, so I wanted you guys to watch this, and then we'll go on into the next part of it, what I want to talk about. Whoops. Let me make it bigger. Just look at this.
Jeez.
And look how green it is. See, that just goes to show you, just because it's not dry, doesn't look like it's all dried out.
Sky map working?
This whole thing is a tragedy, what's going on down there.
It is, not Pasadena.
All of it. It's mishandling of stuff. They don't have the water.
Right. He was right.
Yeah, they don't have the water regulation stuff right. They let rainwater and stuff all go back into the ocean instead of collecting it. You know, they mismanage that water, and they mismanage the way they run the forestry department.
One of the dumbest.
Yeah, it's sad. We see several homes are
to get rid of dead trees. You need to clear underbrush, and those are jobs. See, there's lots of jobs out there if you run things properly. But guess what? This kind of stuff's less likely to happen when you have good management when it comes to the water and to the forest and things like that.
I mean, here's the thing: when it comes to these fires, Trump and laws, because we all have laws that you can't collect rainwater.
Mm-hmm.
That law, in my opinion, was created because I can't remember when that law was implemented. I'd actually have to look it up.
Yeah.
But I believe that law was implemented because of when the government and other corporations and stuff started doing the planting or seeding up in the clouds and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So that if anybody tested the water, it was, or they'd be found out and shit. Now, yes, I do believe that they have been doing cloud seeding and other shit like that. I'd kind of be an idiot not to. But the point is, if it wasn't for draconian ass laws like that, if it wasn't for the fact that Trump was right, that they should have invested money into cleaning the fucking forests floors,
yeah,
raking them out and whatnot, you wouldn't have this problem every fucking year.
Yeah, that's
every
what I say.
There was a wildfire in California.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's why I basically say that they should basically. It's environmentalism is a joke.
Mm-hmm.
It is stewardship. It's conservation. All these tree hugger people, liberals, if you want to like keep the forest nice and pristine and natural, just move there, and then you take care of it.
Here's the thing. Yeah, here's the thing. They all love to say, "Oh, deforestation this, deforestation that." If you guys actually paid attention to what culling a forest is, it's not cutting down all the good trees and shit. No, it's cutting all the dead ones down, allowing and doing even controlled burning and whatnot.
Yes.
If you do all of that stuff, you are replenishing the soil for one.
Right.
Two,
that's what happens.
You are opening up space in the forest. You are allowing things to happen because up here in the Adirondacks, you drive around, you see a bunch of dead, or you see swaths of dead fucking trees.
Right.
And shit, diseased trees and whatnot. But also by the roads, you see these pines, these little pines from like 5 years ago. Now they're up to like 20 feet high and growing even further.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if these things are not checked in like 10 to 20 years, somebody's going to, or we're going to have like 15 trees in the freaking road when a wind blows these assholes down.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're on slants like this next to the roads. These are trees that are seriously in real danger of actually falling in these sort of conditions.
Right.
New York does not have restrictions against collecting rainwater. California has restrictions and requiring falling do not. Okay, so New York doesn't have those laws, but because California has those laws, look what happened. If you allow people to collect rainwater and shit, they would be able to fight this shit a lot better.
Did you see that? Andrew,
all the freaking hydrants are dry.
You know they. You know who they blamed on that?
Trump.
Anderson Cooper came out and said, "Well, people were trying to like use water to stop water their grass, water their houses to stop the fire. So it's their fault they did it." Like, what a fucking idiot!
You want to know what's funny? You dumb. Or Anderson Cooper is one of the dumbest fucking idiots, and they actually should fire his ass from CNN. So if you want to save money, CNN, fire Anderson Cooper, who's making $20 million a year.
He's a Vanderbilt. He can. I don't give
a fuck what he is. But the point is, if you're freaking saturating the ground enough, and you are saturating all the things, because James Woods, his house didn't go up. Thankfully, there's smoke damage and stuff. But he shared a video on his X account.
Oh yeah,
where the people are soaking everything around the area, because if you do saturate it, it'll be harder to burn.
And your roof too, as you just saw in the video. Okay, people don't understand because they don't understand how fire works. when you have big chunks, okay, and you got a big strong wind, a big chunk of whatever of leaves, or but it's a chunk of leaves or a piece of a branch that's real small, that's been burning. Okay, it gets lifted up, lands on a roof where the roof's really dry. And the next thing you know, it starts to melt and it starts on fire. Right. And that's how because people keep saying they had to be starting fires because look how far a gap there is. Well, see, they're not understanding how fire works and how it spreads. I remember when I was young,
hundreds of feet.
There was a huge fire in the woods, okay, and it was blowing to us across the roads, but there was a wide gap because of the road. But guess what? It wasn't all fire. It's like thousands of grasshoppers that were running, and they were on fire, and they were jumping across the street, and people are running and stomping on grasshoppers to keep it from starting their grass on fire, and then it would sweep and start the whole new tornado of flames. So, and that's sad. I mean, I hate to say that, but animals catch on fire and then they run.
Here's something I have to ask. It's a segue question, but it's relevant to this topic. You had the United Healthcare CEO get gunned down, and you had the left actually celebrate because evil CEO.
Yeah.
Now you have California and all these insurance companies canceling people's insurance.
Yeah.
Why
being one of them?
And why is the narrative now CEO bad? Are they trying to tie this to Trump in a way? Because again, there was some idiot that actually posted, "Thanks, Donald Trump. Now it's all destroyed." What are you talking about? He's not even in office.
When it comes to the CEOs, the CEO of Allstate came out and did rather divisive little speech. I can't remember what he said, but I do know that a lot of people were pissed off about it, and a lot of people were actually canceling their plans. And it's like, then I read Allstate cancels 70,000 insurance plans in that area where the wildfire happened. And I'm like, are you out of your fucking minds? No wonder people want to fucking kill you. Now, I'm not condoning it, folks. Do not mistake my words. I am not condoning killing these people. I'm not saying you should go out and kill these people. But that kind of asshole decision where you're canceling people's whose livelihoods and houses just fucking burnt down, and Allstate, we cover all that.
Well, remember, we did talk about this.
But
we did talk about this a little bit months and months back, okay? Because remember, we were talking about people were losing their jobs, businesses were shuttering their doors and leaving. Okay, remember it was the Hilton and a whole bunch of other hotel companies closing down because they can't afford the high prices and the high price of insurance and all that. So when you have enough people leave, insurance companies aren't making any money. Nobody's
but here's what's so funny too.
That's why a lot of this closed down. Go ahead.
But here's what's so tragic. You had Maui, you had Helene, and this devastation.
Yep.
$750 for you, $700 for you. Biden comes out and says 100% covered because these are his people. It is not just lawfare, it is selective, backing. We'll back you up because this happened.
We didn't have money. They didn't have any money for the people in Helene.
I know.
50 people got $750. Okay?
I know.
And people are still living in tents right now. And there's snow on the ground. But they're still sending money to Ukraine. See, it's bullshit. I thought all that money being sent somewhere had to be voted on.
Nope.
Not that a president can go.
It actually should be. And that's the thing.
That's the problem.
Or everybody's like, I've actually raised the point of impeachment several times, even after the election happened. And a lot of people are like, well, you'll never get him removed. He's never going to be removed. Well, here's the thing. Impeachment, even though you may not get the fucker removed, it still goes on their record. It still is a matter of importance to the world. This president got impeached for this reason. And if they would have actually fucking listened to me instead of saying, oh, it doesn't matter because he's not going to be removed, look at what they did in kids' books. And I actually talked with my brother on this. I actually raised this up with him one time. It's like, look, they literally put in a child's presidential book about presidents after Biden was president and whatnot. All the presidents up to this, or up to President Joe Biden. And for Donald Trump, the one thing that he's noted for was being impeached twice. As if a fucking
now
child.
He's a felon. Now he's a felon too.
As if a child would know what impeachment is. I didn't even know what impeachment was when Clinton was being impeached. I'm like, what is impeachment? Now Clinton was 96 to 2000. So
how old were you when he got impeached?
What year did he get impeached? Because I was born in 85, so
2002?
I was 10 to 15 years old.
2002, maybe?
No, he was impeached, or he wasn't in office in 2002.
98.
98. I
believe it's 98.
13 years old. I was all of 13 years old. So it's like, what is this? What is all this stuff happening and whatnot? So I didn't know what the hell they were talking about. But if you could act, or if you actually get a resolution passed to impeach his ass,
December 19th, 1988,
on his record, and it will be put on his record. Now, yeah, the Democrats who are no longer in power will be like, well, they just did it as revenge. It's like, no, they did it with legitimacy. This man caused a lot of freaking bad shit to happen. And it's like, well, so what? And it's like, by having it on his record, it can go into the fucking history books of what this man does, and they take a better look at him. I am thinking long term when it comes to this shit. But everybody's like, oh, impeachment would just be a waste of time. And it's like, no, it really wouldn't if you know if you know how to think about it in the long term. It's all street cred. Trump needs to embrace it. He is embracing it. He fucking got 20% of the black vote. And I remember this being said back in during 2020, actually, during that election. If Trump can get 20% of the black vote, he will win the election. What happened in 2024? He got 20% of the black vote. Now, yes, he also got a whole bunch of other stuff too, but he also got 20% of the black vote. So it's like all these black people who voted for Trump, y'all fucking and this and that. And it's like, I'm not going to say those words, but it's like, yeah, well, here's the thing. All these, or a lot of the street cred black folk, don't take it the wrong way, folks, but a lot of those people who like or who take a little bit of inspiration from somebody with a rap sheet, they actually voted for him. And Trump said that too. Nobody cares that they got the convicted felon label.
See, I want to say something really quick. I told everybody, I've been telling all of you guys that Trump was going to be convicted. And everybody kept saying, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And I said, I don't know if he's going to go to prison or not, but they're going to convict him because they're, I don't care what the Supreme Court says. Even if the Supreme Court said they couldn't, they're still going to do it. That's what I'm saying. They don't care about the law. All they care about is making a statement and proving they're right. Period. That's all they care about.
Yes, that is what they want. Yes, he was going to be convicted. But what I said to you I believe I said this to you one of those times, it's like appeals will overturn because when he goes to he's already said
I didn't say that wouldn't happen, but it was just funny to me how everyone said there's no way that's going to happen. There's no way Biden's not going to be on the ticket, all this stuff. And I'm like, but people that's one of the problems that I do try to listen and I try to learn. And then next time I'll say, you know what, that was a great idea. I might try that. People need to start listening to what other people say and maybe consider that could be a possibility. You know what I mean? And he, just like we're saying, all of us agree, I think, in here, in this whole thing, agree that we want transparency. We want to know where our money is going. We want to know what it's being spent on, because when your mayor says we're going to take your money and we're going to spend it on these roads because, man, we got some bad potholes, and you're giving money for 2 more years and there's no potholes being filled, you start going, what the hell? We paid 2 years in taxes. Why aren't you fixing the shit? And that's what we're going to get. I really believe that we're going to get it. But once we get it, once we have 4 years of transparency and we see laws being changed and things changing, do you think it's going to be really easy for us to go back and close our eyes and just say, oh, well, I can't do anything about it? We're not going to go back to that. And that's why the Democrats are fighting tooth and nail, because they do not want to have to be transparent about any of it, because they know that what they want to do isn't going to be popular with us once we understand what's going on, and that we want to know what's going on behind the scenes. And they're not going to want to share it. And that's why they don't want to give up the reins. That's how I see it.
Speaking of Trump one more time,
Mhm.
there are a lot of people actually are saying that the whole sentencing thing is a sham. And while it is, I'm glad they did it now, because now he can appeal.
Yes.
By having it official right now and finished and concluded, he can appeal and get it overturned. Because if they would have waited until after his presidency, he would have to deal with the conviction all the way through. But now, if he gets an appeal and they overturn the conviction, and here's a lovely thing, folks. If you have that conviction removed from your record and people continue to call you a convicted felon, that's called defamation.
Yeah.
And it's only getting easier to prove. Thank you, George Stephanopoulos. It's only getting easier to prove when it comes to defamation in the media. The media is can be sued now a lot easier because of all this stuff. His gag order is gone now. Yes, Hardwick. And that's another thing. That gag order is a specific violation to the First Amendment. Now, I'm not sure of New York's Constitution. I will honestly have to look up New York State Constitution. I do believe that the federal Constitution and the Bill of Rights specifically should apply to all state levels as well. If it already doesn't. But any sort of violation against a First Amendment right to freedom of speech, if a judge commits a gag order of that magnitude, that judge should automatically be brought before the bar for review and then hopefully disbarred. I do not think that Judge Juan Merchan will sit on the bench or much longer, because I do believe his actions are disbarable offenses. But I am glad that they got the conviction all done before the inauguration, because now he can pursue the appeal.
Yep.
It's still
as he should.
They said.
Go ahead, Bruce. Because Bruce hasn't gotten to speak yet at all, basically.
I know, but
we're all stumbling over this faggot fucking judge in New York. I just wanted to make sure that people know you're a convicted felon. Well, listen here, okay? If you travel back to 1770s and you listen to what the UK, the Brits, the high-vis, red-wearing redcoats are saying about the dissidents here, the rebels here, the people that are fighting for freedom here in America, I'm sure that they drug our names through the mud. Every single one of the guys they could get a hold of, and they could hang or torture or ruin their families, destroy their families, rape their wives and daughters. They did that. They said nothing nice about us. So Trump being a convicted felon, he's actually in the spirit of the fucking founders of America. I don't really think it's a besmirchment. I think it's great. I think it's absolutely
badge of honor. Well, it's kind of funny when he ran in 2016. They said how corrupt he is, blah blah blah, and then 2020, we know what happened, what really happened. But 2024, they played the same playbook again, where lawfare, say the same things. He's going to do this and do that. And again, they're saying the same thing that he said. I know, because they're repeating the same thing. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. He never did it. And more perfect example. You've had 4 years of Trump, 4 years of Biden. What would you want to have? Trump. And that's why we elected him again. But I am concerned that the margin wasn't bigger. I thought the margin would be much bigger. I thought he would get 120 million votes.
Well, I want to tell Hardwicky that the gag order is no longer in effect because the case is over.
Yep.
He's been convicted, so
According
he can talk
John
about it
M,
now.
though.
So
according to John M, it's still in effect. But
we just watched that interview in front of the courthouse, and that other woman was just there. That's from the court, and she said it no longer exists because the case has been settled. He's been convicted.
But here's the thing, though: if you do file for an appeal, which obviously they are doing, does that keep the court or does that keep the case alive? And if it does keep it alive, then perhaps
it would have to be reinstated. The new judge, right, that's going to see this new case, because this case is over, right? He's being convicted. So now another court will take over and see whether or not they're going to appeal it. See what I mean?
Yeah. All right.
That's what she was trying to explain. But the next thing I wanted is, it's the same thing to do with the fires and stuff, but I wanted to share this whole thing about the wildfires and stuff. It says that looters, scammers will be arrested, prosecuted, and punished because of all this. So here we go. I'm just going to let you guys hear this part.
Are pretty much an equal opportunity catastrophe. People are finding that multiple members of individual families have lost their homes, while relatives have also been forced to evacuate and await the fate of their homes. The home of Jennifer Ham, the sister of newly elected LA County District Attorney Nathan Hochman, who had to himself evacuate his family home, was engulfed and incinerated Tuesday in the Pacific Palisades wildfire. Hochman took to his official DA Instagram account to detail the destruction in a video in front of his sister's former home. Watch.
So I'm here in Pacific Palisades at the site of what used to be my sister's home. She's lived here for a while, a long time, with her family, and now this home, along with the homes in the street in this neighborhood, are just gone. I've been here for over 60 years. I've not seen devastation like this in my lifetime.
Joining us now live in a Fox Business exclusive is LA County DA Nathan Hochman and his sister Jennifer Ham. First of all, Jennifer, our sympathies go out to you and the family for the loss that you've endured. Thank you so much for joining us during this difficult time. When did you realize you had to evacuate?
The evacuation call started coming in late morning. You could see the fires on the hills quite clearly. We would stand on our roof along with other neighbors. And we've been here before, so we were trying to evaluate. In our situation, personally, I was with my 2 sons, a girlfriend, and our dog, and our elderly next door neighbor who was disabled. So the idea was to try and let local residents who really were running for their lives at that point out, because there was a lot of congestion. From that point, assess traffic and how to get out successfully. And also deal with, if we had to abandon our car, what we would. We weren't in that situation because we had an elderly disabled person with us. So there was a lot to figure out. And, I would say we took the best part of the day to leave. We tried to be calm about the approach. But the funny thing is that, as a Palisades resident of 15 years, we've been here before, and we did not, we've always returned successfully, thank God. And this time, I think what I would say to anyone is pack as if you're not coming back. You don't ever expect that to be your reality. So we didn't do that. but we did get out safely, and we were able to assist our neighbor. And, you know, just one thing I'll add is that other Palisades residents, we are a huge community of people who love each other and look out for each other and raise our kids there. It's that kind of community. So our hearts are broken, but I think that there's a sense of strength that comes from every single WhatsApp group is just fired up right now, sending love and support and offering help.
Sure. Nathan, why was it important for you to put out to the world that Instagram, you have a very big job right now. We watched you earlier on your news conference talking about looters. You're going to take a very heavy hand when it comes to that. But maybe sharing, I guess, that it's affecting everybody, including you and your family.
So Liz, I thought it was very important to make it clear that I was there. I was bearing witness right in the middle of the fire zone, that it affected my sister, her entire family. I've personally been evacuated, along with thousands of others. There's over 180,000 people who have been evacuated in Los Angeles County. And I want to also make clear to anyone who was thinking about taking advantage of it for their own personal illegal profit, that those looters, those scammers, those people who are going to prey on vulnerable people who are looking to rebuild their lives, that they will actually be arrested, they will be prosecuted, and we will seek maximum punishment against them. Those people who want to take advantage of this tragedy are despicable. And I wanted to say a fair warning out to them right now, so there's no misunderstanding about how they will be treated if and when they get caught, prosecuted, and punished.
Nathan, how many people have been arrested? The last number we had heard was about 20, but I was looking at private security companies are desperately trying to defend neighborhoods, certainly in the Palisades. In fact, one guy I read about in the LA Times, he said they chased away a thief on a moped, and then they watched another one walk into what was left of a house and steal a bag of toys that may have been from a Christmas gift. This is horrible. I mean, you've got all hands on deck.
The number is 20 and unfortunately will increase. We fully expect that there's a criminal element out there that is looking at this as an opportunity. We just want to make sure they understand that the costs of this opportunity are going to be significant. Now, the police have basically done an all hands on deck approach. They've got detectives putting on uniforms right now to make sure that they're patrolling the streets. They've asked for resources beyond this county, and the resources are arriving. So they're going to do their best to protect us. But if those cases land with the DA's office, as they will, we will prosecute them to the maximum extent possible.
Nathan, to you and all of your team at the district attorney's office and all the law enforcement and firefighters, our extreme thanks. Jennifer, thank you for joining us to tell us your story. We appreciate it. I know you're both incredibly busy. We're wishing you the best here in the aftermath of this. And we want to let everybody know that Fox Corporation has just made a $1 million donation to the American Red Cross's California wildfires relief efforts. Continues to be an annual disaster giving program partner. Here's how you can help, and we do encourage you to do that. Visit redcross.org/Fox Forward, or you can see the QR code on your screen right now. Put your cell phone up to that and grab that image, and hopefully you can help out in this sort of a situation. Again.
Okay, there you go. That was that's one of the things that I wanted everybody to see, is that it's pitiful. That we have. Yeah, it's pitiful though that we still have so many people in our society that are so low that they run in waiting and chomping at the bit for a tornado or flood or an earthquake or fires, to just run in and raid people's house, steal jewelry, whatever it is that they can find, and load it in our truck and drive off. We have people that every day all they do is drive through neighborhoods and steal packages off people's porches. See, things like that is important that we get those people, because a person that will do that kind of stuff, who knows what will they, what they're going to do tomorrow. You know what I mean? To me, it's petty crime now, but if they never get in trouble for it, what's going to stop them from moving up to even worse crimes? It's pathetic that that's the kind of society that we are living in today, to me.
Here's the thing that a lot of people aren't saying about these, and I am going to fucking say it because I know it's going to piss off a lot of people, but what they aren't telling you about a lot of these fucking looters in California that looted some of the houses, the ethnicity. 100% of those looters, when they were starting to be reported, were of a specific minority.
Mm-hmm.
They're black. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Now, I'm not saying all black people, but I am saying, what the fuck is wrong with the people in California that you think you have a right? Because I guarantee you, if it wasn't for the communist nation of California, anybody who frickin' went into my house or would have looted my house and shit, I would have, honestly, this is why I wish certain Marvel characters existed, because I would have let Johnny Blaze go right through that fucking place, being Ghost Rider and stuff. Let's just say that a lot of those people would be gone.
Yeah, it's just that a lot of people aren't realizing just how bad
we need a Frank Castle.
it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we need a Frank Castle in real life. Let's just say that. We need a Frank Castle in real life.
Yeah, here is another thing that I found I thought was just devastating. This is from an airplane looking down. And then this is another video. These are just different ones, random ones, of this guy filming. It was him, what's happening outside his house. And he had his dog, and I was like, I can't believe he's still in his home, because I hope he lived. But there's just tons and tons of videos.
That one there is from 2017.
Right here?
Yeah.
This one up here?
Nope. The one
This
below
one?
it. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't look at it. Yeah, see, it says here. But this guy, he's trying to show how it's constant. This happens all the time in California. That's what this.
I wonder if there's zombie fires.
This one guy's trying to show you. It just goes on and on and on because of bad management. I've been saying this for years. They don't understand forestry management. I took it in school.
Yeah. Have you guys ever heard of zombie fires?
No. What's that?
Zombie fires are which they're put out, but the heat and source of the fire essentially over the colder season keeps these fires from burning openly, and they smolder underground. Essentially, they smolder underground.
Yeah.
There's a show, and yes, I even looked it up after I saw the episode on the show. It's called Fire Country. It takes place in California. I think it's absolutely kind of hilarious that that there's freaking wildfire. But they had zombie fires happening, and they left the mid-season finale in a kind of open shit. It's like, oh fuck, man, I want to know what's happening here. But they had zombie fires going on in that one, and it shows that a lot of people's houses are starting to go up and shit, and it's like, oh shit, But I wonder if that might also be an actual problem that's combing through these fires that kicked off the fire, because I don't think they said anything about the cause. But everybody's like, well, it's climate change is the cause. No, it's fucking mismanagement. Climate change isn't real. Stop trying to make it out to be a thing. Climate shift, that's real, and it's not what you think it is. But when it comes to all this shit,
I would like to talk about what you had said you'd like to bring up. Orange Hat.
Right, the lawlessness.
Okay, so get that ready. So after we're done talking about Mel Gibson's house burnt down while he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, I just wanted everybody to see that. So a lot of people are, good and bad, because we got to remember, yeah, it's LA, yeah, it's California, but the whole state of California isn't full of fuckheads. Okay. There are decent,
True, it isn't.
tax-paying, hardworking people that are being devastated because of this too. All the people that work at all those businesses, even if they didn't live in the fancy neighborhood, there's fancy restaurants or whatever, they work there. People work there, so their livelihoods are gone now. So this is a huge devastation for the state. And what do you think is going to happen when they need money?
Can I just say that I think this happened at the right time, because in all honesty, this really is terrible. This is tragic.
Yes.
Tragic beyond a shadow of a doubt. But I think with what's going to happen here after the 20th, I think you're going to have across the board increases of real estate, commercial, and home construction. You're going to have a lot of dropping prices on wood and building materials. So you're going to have a whole new group of various houses just pop up because the Trump build of 2025, and this is the right time for something like this to happen. This is the right time for it to happen, because we're getting ready to see like all this stuff cascade into the home market. It's terrible that everybody's lost their houses. It's terrible that all these things have happened. People
10
have died.
people have died already.
People have died.
That last I heard. So no, 20 people have died now.
But
so that's a lot.
If there ever was a prime time for something like this to happen, right before Donald Trump ascends into office, and you see the confidence come back in the market, and the prices drop, and the home markets soar, home markets go back to reasonable prices. Holy shit, this is the time to do it.
Yeah, but who would move to California?
What?
Who would want to move to California?
I wouldn't want to at all. I would rather chop my dick off. But I'm just saying, like, if you're going to be stuck in California, at least you're only paying, $2 million for a 3-bedroom house, not $6 million.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's going to be a huge housing bubble explosion, because the homes in Florida are way, way overpriced too. And the insurance rates are through the roof. So there's going to be a burst of insurance rates and everything. They're going to implode, because a person getting a house that they can't afford, especially a lot of these illegals, which I've heard have been getting loans without any background checks or anything. So where do they think this money's going to come from? You know what I mean? It's disgusting.
Got the thing set up, by the way.
Janet, look at Colony Ridge
this...
in Houston. Sorry, my bad.
Sorry.
My bad.
Go ahead real quick before Orange Hat
this
goes
is something that's also going on down in California, folks.
Oh, yeah.
Los Angeles local residents take down a man allegedly trying to start fires. No more waiting for police.
Yep.
And I'm going to play this. This is a minute long. I'm not going to play the volume. But essentially, California is now descending into mob justice, into civilian justice. This is a double-edged sword, because one, you have some people who will go just as far as need to stop a person from doing stuff. However, there are going to be people who will take it too far. And that's when shit happens. Now, this is because all this stuff happening, people are getting tired of the police being unable to get there in time. People are getting tired of having to wait for the police for like 5 hours just to get what's going on, or just to get any sort of response. And now people are saying, you know what, fuck it, we're going to take the law into our own hands. Now, I get it. Believe me, I get it. And California, you fucking deserve it. With Newsom. And yes, vigilantism. because unfortunately, it is necessary in certain aspects. Yes, I was just calling for vigilantism. You are absolutely right, John. But here's the thing: it shouldn't have to happen.
But I don't consider that
Unfortunately, it is
vigilante.
happening. Unfortunately, it is happening because, well, these people are have basically been pushed to the brink. But
well, can I add
it
something
shouldn't
really quick
have to happen.
to what you just said?
Yeah.
To me, it's on the borderline of
It isn't vigilantism.
vigilantism. The reason I say that is, if those people live in that, let's say it's a little cul-de-sac, right?
Right.
And one of the neighbors sees someone trying to start a fire in the trash can in front of someone's house, and they're like, "What? What are they doing?" So they run out, and then other neighbors hear the commotion. They come out, and it's not really them going after somebody because they knew they did something later, right? They're doing it because they're trying to protect their homes right now, because it's happening in front of them.
That's the
that
difference.
To me is no different than if I was in bed and I heard noises.
Correct.
And I get my pistol and I go and I find out somebody's breaking in my house. It's the same thing. They're protecting what's theirs at that moment. It's not them coming home, seeing this stuff happen, finding out who it is, and then going after them. See,
That's not self-defense. That's self-defense. That ain't vigilantism. Vigilantism is where they're going out seeking these people to or seeking out lawbreakers and stopping them themselves without the authority of the police.
Exactly.
That's vigilantism, like Batman and shit.
Right.
Now, yes, I did call for vigilantism in some cases, especially when it comes to looters and shit, because honestly, how else, or with the lack of police, how else are you going to fucking stop it? What I am also saying is I wish it wasn't necessary. It is a double-edged sword because it then becomes a risk of going too far. If it goes too far, it becomes a whole other problem. Because then you're going to have to bring in the fucking National Guard to put down civilians.
So then
But if any of you were picked to be on a jury, okay, let's say you got picked to be on a jury, and there was a guy who was in something like what happened with all the wildfires around, right? And he saw someone across the street trying to start a fire in a trash can. It wasn't even his house, okay? And he went over there and he started wrestling with the guy to get the lighter fluid from him or whatever. And they end up fighting. The guy falls and he breaks his neck. Okay, so now that you're on the jury because they're saying that this guy killed this guy because he shouldn't have done anything because the guy, it wasn't his house, he wasn't defending himself. See, that's the kind of stuff you're going to see happening. We're going to see more and more of this happening because more and more people are sick and tired of having no rights. They can't go shopping because people are looting in front of you, shoving you out of the way, stealing shit, and you still have to pay for yours because you're a law-abiding citizen. Then you see people looting or trashing people's houses down the street. You know, it's closing in on you. Okay, now you're paying for a $380,000 house that is worth half of that now. Because of you're in a slum neighborhood now, basically, because there is no law. It's no law and order. So we got to think about it in those terms. What would you do if you saw this happening in your neighborhood across the street or in your own driveway? What are you supposed to do? Just call 911 and hopefully they don't run away and the house is burning down before they get there? See what I mean?
Another thing. When these looters are going into these burning houses in this area just before the flames get there, what happens when the fucking flames get there and they didn't get out of the house quick enough? Then suddenly you come back to your fucking house or what's left of your house and there's a fucking dead body there, all burnt up and shit. How the fuck are you going to explain that to police? Especially if the police can't do anything about fucking looters and this and that. And, well, nobody saw the looters going in. And this and that, well, then suddenly a fucking looter goes in. Now you got to explain a fucking dead body in your fucking house. So that's another problem. The whole thing fucking sucks. Now, as much as I do wish for law and order and whatnot, I also do see that vigilantism is how best to put this? I'm not going to say necessary, but I don't blame it for happening. You know? And
Why,
I'm not
Gary?
saying that,
Why?
or I'm not condoning it. However, I am understanding it.
Yep, I understand that 100%.
If that's the best, or I have a hard time freaking wording things the proper way, folks. Sometimes
No, I
in the
understood
middle of
what you
saying
were
something, I
saying.
forget. Well,
I
sometimes
understood
in the
what
middle of a conversation, I'm actually trying to say something, and then suddenly I'm about to say it, and that's when my brain just shuts off the memory of that word. And it's like, fuck, you know? It really gets annoying.
The power,
how
the
often
the people have spoken in regards to what's going on for the last 8 years and longer. We're sick and tired of government officials not listening. And it happened it started with the Tea Party before that. And again, the libertarians are screwed up. They're not organized, and that's what they want. They want you to pick either R or D. And the fact that Trump did, and Trump, RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, all these former Democrats basically said, "Fuck this. We're going to switch over, do something with the Republicans because." We are the people who are not the hive mind. We are individuals. We're different. We do not agree on everything. All of us are totally different, but we do agree on the idea that the individual is paramount. Humanity is so important, and your individual rights are so important. You should not have them infringed. So your home is your castle. And if you see somebody doing something, like you were right, Janet, if you see somebody breaking into your house, you want to stop them. Hurting your family, stop them. Hurting your home, stop them. And this what they did to this guy, again, if they had got him and then hung him up, that's vigilantism. But holding him for the police is just a citizen's arrest.
Yeah,
that's what they did.
That was just an arrest. The vigilantism that you guys might be worried about would be something like what would have happened in the case of like Gary Plowshey, where he waited for the authorities to walk the pervert past him at the airport, and he shoots the pervert with a revolver under his arm at an upward angle. It actually hits the guy in the dome and takes out most of his brain pan, which is beautiful. And the world is less one child molester. And then the cops jumped on Gary. Why, Gary? Why? And they found him to be guilty of just doing this, and they sentenced him to like more community service, and that was it. He had like 200 hours community service. That's all he ever did.
See, that's what I'm saying. The jury, gave him what they believed he deserved.
Right.
And just like that one guy, wasn't it in Texas that he went out to the barn and he caught one of his ranch hands assaulting his little girl?
Yeah, killed him.
And he beat the guy to death with his bare hands, and he didn't get prison time. So I believe that's why it's so important, why I went on and on and on about if you get picked to serve jury duty, go in, do it, because it could be you sitting in that jury sitting in that courtroom wanting other people like us to be your jurors. Okay. And that's why when I first told people, that I got picked for jury duty, I had like 25 people say, I can help you get out of it. I can tell you how to get out of it. And then I had 4 people say, wow, Janet, I think you need to be getting picked as a jury, the leader of the jury or whatever type thing. And that made me feel good. But the thing is that it's sad because people don't want to serve their communities, and just, jury duty, voting, working the polls, little things like that. It makes a difference because we're it. Why do people complain about having all these electronic devices counting votes? Well, guess what? It started because people didn't go to sign up to work the polls. You go in now and it looks like a nursing home because nobody young is stepping up to the plate to do the duty of serving their community by working the polls, things like that. So we've got to start doing it.
Whatever you say, work in the polls, you drink. No, I'm not saying. No. But
God, I'm trying to keep a straight face, dude.
No, but
Oh,
No.
okay.
But I do appreciate what she did because we worked the polls because Trump won.
Mm-hmm.
But I was called in for jury duty one time, and they had jury selection. I was actually part of the group that was to either be put on the jury or not on the jury.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them asked, "Do you have family in law enforcement?" And I'm not going to lie, I said yes, and they immediately excused me. I'm like, "What the fuck?"
But you went in. You made the effort.
Yeah.
See, that's all you have to do. I went there for a whole week. One day for months I was on it, but for 7 days out of months is how many times I got called in. And I had to sit there for hours. And as they drew the names or whatever, it's all random. And when I finally got picked to go up there and be interviewed with with 12 other people. And they asked my one question was, do you have anyone in your family that is currently serving in prison in this state? And I had to say yes. The child molester in my family that molested my niece, and not blood related, but he was married to one of my
by
relatives.
marriage.
Yeah. But the thing
I would
is,
say by marriage.
He hurt my family big time. By what he did by splitting our family in two, basically the ones who believed him, the ones who believed the kid. And then he ruined my chances of serving on a good jury because he's in prison. So I don't know. I was devastated over it because I really wanted to try it, and hopefully I'll get called again and I'll get a chance to do it. But I pushed that. I've been saying that for years. Sign up to work the polls. Sign up to do some type of service in your community. Great. Because
John M's last. Yep, John.
And no, I've never worked one of those polls. But the other thing I want to talk about was this. I saw this article. It came across my timeline. I was shocked. I was like, during the fires, they're having an earthquake. 3.7 earthquake hit while they were out there trying to put fires out. So
there's some Christian apocalyptic people saying it's freezing in the east, it's fires in the west, there's earthquakes, it's the apocalypse.
Yeah, this stuff happens all the time. I mean, there's stuff. It's just happening in one general area for a certain amount of time or whatever. But it is sad, and I feel bad for these people. And what's really sad is that all the people in office that could have done something about managing these forests and stuff, because I have a friend, his name is Rooftop, Korean on X, and we did Spaces a lot. Okay, you've seen Rooftop in our chat a lot, and he's there and he talks about it all the time. The bad managing of the water, the bad managing of the forestry and the animals, in the parks. He says that they are so overrun with mountain lions and stuff because they're not allowed to shoot them, that they're now coming out of the woods and going into people's yards and killing their cats and dogs, because, they don't have any natural predators.
Yeah, very true.
They
had a video out there.
It's terrible. Back when, God, I don't know how long ago, years ago, it seemed like they hardly ever had fires. They'd have a little one, but it would get put out really quickly. You hear that a lot in like Montana. You got to remember, we got
and then every fucking year now.
All I remember,
we have huge states that are covered with forests, but they have good forestry management, so you don't have this happening over and over and over again. And it's just sad. I feel sorry for the people, the innocent people.
Now, here is a question.
Don't understand what's going on.
Here's a question. So does this finally end Gavin Newsom's career for president?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, there's no way he's going to go there. There's no way.
I hope it
He's
does.
never going to be able to run. He's never going to be able to run after this because they have seen how well he is handling this. He goes up to the fire, puts his hands in his back pockets to grip his ass. It's like, that's what you're fucking doing, you piece of shit. But also, I blame the people of California.
Right.
Now, I'm not blaming all the people of California. I am blaming the people who voted in the fire chief, who voted in that mayor who was in Ghana when the shit started, the fire chief who is a lesbian and woman who wants to hire more women.
That was so
And
funny.
whatnot.
When you're in a fire, you want to have someone that looks like you. No.
Yeah.
You want
that
like
that whole fucking thing. You want somebody that looks like you. And then that fucking bitch, that lesbian bitch that was did that fucking video, she's like, well, what would you say about somebody who, or somebody who can't carry out? Well, maybe you shouldn't have been around an area that was on fire. Now, should you? Really? So you're fucking victim blaming. What the fuck is wrong with you? But here's the thing, folks. Y'all want to fucking do this DEI horse shit? That shit should be illegal. The DEI institution,
it's reverse
or the
racism.
DEI initiative should be illegal based on the fact alone that it violates civil rights of, I think it was, 1973? That you're discriminating on basis of gender and all that shit.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care what color of your skin is. I don't care what you have between your legs. I don't care who you're fucking in your home. Can you do the fucking job?
Right.
Can you go into a burning house and pull out a 250-pound man if it requires? Can you go into
one that's
unconscious one at that where it's dead weight? Yes. Can you do all that? These are the requirements needed. And you freaking blowing a bunch of your fucking budget on a goddamn parade is horse shit. If you're or there was that one comedian guy, I think he was some sort of comedian that went on talking about how it took him 7 fucking years to apply for a firefighting job so he could help his fucking family. And then when he finally gets the freaking note to go in, he sees this black woman and he's talking about, oh, here's my white privilege. And he sees this black woman. He's like, how long did it take you to get in? Oh, I signed up
Adam Carolla.
Yeah,
Yep,
Carolla. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Everybody loves to say white privilege this, white privilege that, white privilege this, white privilege that. Motherfucker, it took a white guy 7 years to even get a freaking appointment. It took a black person just signing up to do it.
Yeah, see,
Where's
the
fucking
thing
white
is,
privilege that everybody's talking about?
We
But
can
get on
fix
the way.
it just
She's
like
gonna be able
that.
to lift up that ladder.
Bruce and Orange Chat, you both signed a selective service, of course, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has to sign selective service once you're 18.
No, not everybody.
Not women.
The men have to sign
except
up.
for women, yes. Or women.
So
cannot,
yeah, what privilege do we?
I mean, that's the thing. That's why I say everybody's like, well, what rights do men or women have that men don't? Oh, I don't know. Maybe selective service.
Yeah, among other things, president.
My body, my choice doesn't exist for men.
Yeah, I guess
preferential
women,
treatment in divorce. You know.
But the thing is that just like you were saying about the firefighter stuff, when I was so pissed when I saw those 2 short women surrounding Trump when he was shot, I was like, what the fuck? They're not even as tall as him. If they're gonna hire them, they got to be as tall as the person they're guarding or taller. Because they can't shield them with their body.
I'm thinking to myself, that's a compromise. Or, I mean, everybody will always say that the whole Trump fight thing is an iconic shot. However, now I'm a realist, folks. I'm looking at this from a realistic perspective here. Yes, beautiful, iconic, historic, whatever. Also tragic. People lost their lives.
Yep.
But also, that was a failure of the Secret Service to the point where their height created a danger for a former president. He was still in danger, even if the shooter is dead, until it is absolutely confirmed that that shooter is fucking dead. And until that man is out of danger, like on his way to a fucking hospital after he got his ear shot,
right?
He needs to be covered every freaking second.
Well,
now,
the
yes,
thing is,
they allowed him to do the fight thing. They never should have did that.
Most people are shot from a distance, okay, with a rifle from a distance, and the number one place someone is shot is the head. So that's why they're not going to shoot him in the leg, okay? They want to kill him. So you got to have a person to shield them that's tall as them or taller that can protect them from being shot from a distance. Okay. And
Not only
that was
that,
ridiculous. But the same thing is, Bruce and I have talked about this many times because of movies that we've reviewed, that you should never lower the standards for any job. Okay. Not for a fireman, not for a police officer, and not for a paramedic, because those people, when they show up, they have to do emergency stuff at that moment they're there. You don't know what is there waiting for you and what you're going to do to save these people, whether it's a home invasion, a husband beating the wife, or the wife pulls a knife on the husband. We don't know. But if you aren't qualified to go in there, then why the hell are you there? Okay. You don't, if you want to just sit your ass on a desk, go in and apply for a job and say, hey, I want to sit my ass on a desk. What jobs you got? You know?
Here's a good hypothetical.
It's just ridiculous.
Say my mom or somebody in my family or even me, for God forbid, is having a stroke or having a heart attack or something like that, and a fucking ambulance person comes around and one of them happens to be black. Imagine if I, hypothetically, do not take this the fucking wrong way. Imagine if a fucking black person comes in who is part of the ambulance corps. I don't want that fucking person. I'm dying here. I want a white guy. What the fuck do you think would happen? That person would walk out and say, good luck. You're dead. Especially in this area, that would actually fucking happen. But the thing is, we got a voluntary ambulance thing here. But the thing is, folks, that if me saying that, if somebody takes these clips out of context, they're going to say, look, here's proof of racism.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care about your goddamn skin color. If I'm having a heart attack and you're coming to help me, I want to know, are you going to be able to help me?
Are you? Yeah.
I saw the DEI, or John M. We did see the DEI ad. That we were partially talking about that. They actually victim blamed in that freaking video. Like if a competent fire chief was in authority at that time, in position at that time, they would have fired that firefighter. I would have fucking fired that. It's like, oh, you did that commercial? By the way, you are fired. Get the fuck out of my goddamn firehouse. You fucking don't blame victims for racial reasons. You racist piece of shit. Get the fuck out. That is what I would say to him. You are being racist, or you are being terminated on base that you are or that your actions marred this firehouse. You are saying that people shouldn't be in a way of fire. What if they had no stay in the matter? What if they fucking woke up and their goddamn house was on fire? Oh, you shouldn't have been there.
But the sad fact is that most people don't even wake up when they're sleeping. They're usually unconscious from smoke inhalation.
Yes.
Okay. So a person has to be you got a fire truck with 6 firefighters on it. 3 of them are hired after they had the standards lowered so they could get the job, because whether it was their race or their sex or whatever. Okay. But they don't know how to do a lot of things. Or you have a 120-pound woman that can't lift a hose, go up a ladder. Is she going to be able to go in and with the mask and all the gear on, find the sleeping people and drag the 280-pound man out? You see, they're risking people's lives. But see, they don't care because they don't see it happening to their family. They're not even thinking about what is going to happen when an actual emergency happens. Well, guess what? There's emergencies every single day in every single city. And I want a person that can do the job to save my family. I mean, just think about it. If you went to the doctor or a dentist, right? And you look on the wall and it said, I made D's in my class. Are you going to still want that surgeon or doctor to take care of you?
Nope.
I wouldn't. But that's not any different than them lowering the standards for any of these other important positions. It hurts us in the long run.
Funny thing about firefighting, I have a story. And this happened to me when I was a kid. Our next door, our neighbor across the street, he was a firefighter. He also became fire chief of the town at the time, or at one time, I do believe, before he retired. But we were over there. We were friends with the kids and whatnot. And I can't remember how old I was. I think I was still single digits. And his name was Chip. And He's like, well, would you guys like to know what it's like to be a firefighter and whatnot? And he started putting all of this equipment on me. That stuff was heavy as fuck. For a kid, you're like, oh my God. I mean, the equipment is not light, folks. I mean, I don't know about the equipment today, but the equipment back in the 90s was heavy. And then I'm like, well, cool. I mean, you're a firefighter. If you're in the stuff and you're in the outfit, you're a firefighter. Well, then the sirens go off. And he's like, well, now I kind of need it back. So it was a funny little moment there because the actual sirens did go off. There was a fire and whatnot. And it's like, oh, crap. You know? Thankfully, I was small enough that they just had to lift all the stuff off and it was off. But it was pretty, I had an idea back then. This is heavy stuff. If you're going to be a firefighter, you need to freaking get jacked. And they have all those firefighter calendars where the guys that are sexy men and the sweat and the six-pack chiseled ribs and shit like that. I mean, I'm sure Janet knows what I'm talking about. She probably had a few. But
I look.
It's not a joke. It's not a joke. That's the kind of people they want with that kind of physique so that they actually can go where they need to go, you know?
Well, I think honestly that in most of the jobs, whether you're a paramedic or fireman or a ranger, you know, a forest ranger, all of them, you should be healthy and in shape enough to do the job, you know? So I'm just saying, you know, I think America should get healthy again. Ruben's been doing it and he's getting healthier every day. So
My New Year's resolution, I'm not having pizza this year. That was my
Really?
New Year's resolution.
That
because
is not
I used
good.
to get pizza. I used to get pizza a lot when I'm going
Don't-
out to
don't say
pick
that
up
to
my
Bruce.
stepbrother. When I'm going out to pick up my stepbrother from work at late at night, I would always go to Stewart's, well, this local convenience store, and just grab a couple slices so I could stay warm, stay awake, and whatnot. Because sometimes it gets out of work late at night, and it's like son of a bitch. And I just kept on packing on pounds, man. I'm like at 318 right now, but I'm actually sorry, Bruce, but yeah, my New Year's resolution is like I'm done with pizza because just before New Year's Eve, I think it was like the 30th or whatever, we went to a local restaurant like 15 miles down the road from us, or 7 miles down the road from us, called the Thirsty Moose. And well, I got a pizza, and that day at the restaurant, I had like 3 slices, and then I had a 4th slice because, you know, I was still hungry. But then later on, I had the rest of the pizza. I ate the whole pizza. Not saying that's a good thing, but my mom's like, "You ate the whole pizza?" I'm like, "It's my last indulgence. I'm not having pizza next year." And she's like, right. And I'm like, I'm not kidding. That's my New Year's resolution. So far, I could say 10 days in, I've been tempted so many times, and I still haven't had a slice of pizza. So, yeah.
Well, I'm proud of you. I went on that cruise, and every single night, okay, we had reserved dinners or whatever, and I would have to watch everybody with the people come by with those trays with all the different types of croissants, different other breads and all that stuff. And I wanted it so bad because it's been really hard for me to have no gluten. And I would tell them I need gluten-free. And they'd say, all right. And it was every night I had the same thing, a teeny piece of bread this big, toasted, brought out to me. And after 2 nights, they always just brought it to me. They knew that's the lady that likes milk and a piece of toast with her meal. So it was, you know, it's kind of sad, but, you know, it's depressing when I get to see other people. You know, I love buttery croissants. Oh, I'm dying to have one. I'd love to have one.
Croissants are love. Croissants are life. I mean, believe me, when it comes to rolls, croissants are my go-to. Because it's like, so I can't stand. A lot of people are like, "Oh, you got to get those biscuits from KFC." And it's like, those freaking things dry up like a desert in your mouth.
Yeah, I hate them. I never liked them.
The ones that are from Red Lobster, they can sometimes dry up depending on which restaurant you go to. But there was one in not North Syracuse, outside of North Syracuse, going around a long way to Liverpool. Had the best freaking biscuits because they were just moist and perfect and butter soaked. It was beautiful.
Wait, can I share this real fast?
Yeah, go ahead. What is it?
Oh shit! I'm doing the wrong thing. It's just I wanted to see if Orange Hat finds it's appealing or not. Just kidding. Where is it?
Oh
Share
God,
screen.
what are you going to show me?
It's like dumb.
Oh, you're going to show me pizza, aren't you?
Here.
I don't know what. I hope it's not something. Oh my goodness! Here we go.
Oh my God, what is he showing me?
A lady dressed up in a pizza costume.
It's cute. It looks edible.
I know, but
all this talks about.
So would you eat that pizza, Orange Hat? Just kidding.
I wouldn't eat the pizza. I'd eat the lady.
There you go. I'm just saying. I thought of that.
Of course.
Really
no. But the idea that the idea you said I'm not going to eat pizza for a whole year.
All right, so
I fucking mean it.
Yeah,
I know. Good for you.
My mom and I or my mom on the 15th, we're going. I gotta renew my license and stuff before my birthday and whatnot. And they're like, we're going out to dinner, and we were going to go to pizza, and I'm like, here's the thing, you guys can have pizza all you want. I'll just have a chicken Alfredo. I can have pasta. I didn't say I'm not having pasta. I said I'm not having pizza. You guys can order all sorts of shit pizza wise. I'm just gonna have a pasta.
Now, what constitutes a pizza?
You know, the pizza pie.
Dough, marinara, cheese.
Okay. So you'll eat tostadas, Mexican pizzas if you put.
Go check your Twitter, Orange Hat.
What about a pineapple pizza? We'll eat that.
What, Bruce?
Do not ever
I just told him to go check his Twitter.
So you won't eat it.
Tagged him in a post.
Oh, go check your Twitter. He just tagged you in a post. He said. But
are you having trouble hearing me?
Yes. You sounded like you were far away from your mic.
Why am I far away from my mic?
Now you sound good.
No, you're close now. That was good.
Toppings from here will determine your level of health. Oh my.
I can show you how to do that pizza. I could show you how to do a thin crust pizza.
A what pizza?
I know how to do all those things.
A what pizza?
The man. Oh,
that's a Detroit style or more.
The one in the pan.
Oh, the deep dish. Oh, the deep dish rectangle pizzas.
Bruce, you can send
those are
me,
good.
How to make
best part of the crust.
Pizza without dough.
No,
my mom loves.
How do I make that?
I cannot do that, Janet.
When's your
Okay, well,
when is your birthday? What time frame?
Mine?
Summer, fall, winter?
February 1st.
It's coming up. Okay. So then you should celebrate having a piece of pizza February 1st, 2026.
Yeah, I'll do that in 2026.
Okay.
But my meal or my birthday meal, I'm thinking probably gonna have a chicken cordon bleu. That thing is ugly. I love it.
What are you adverse to steak?
What is steak?
Adverse to steak.
I love steak.
Oh, steak.
Yeah.
I love steak. Give me a freaking New York strip steak.
Really rare. If I can get it rare
as
or medium rare. I like steak tartare too.
Oh yeah, I love steak tartare.
New York strip steaks that are like this long, about I don't know, 6-7 inches.
God,
I cut those.
Oh God! Now we went from 9 inches to 7 inches.
Shut up, you. But yeah, cut them into thirds. Eat them like burger sliders or something like that, man. Put them on bread. Slap some cheese on them. There you go. Medium rare.
Yeah, see,
now I'm getting hungry. I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry myself too. It's almost midnight, you guys.
Yeah, Haya told me that
she wants here. It's almost 1 here.
I love it when Haya tells me that she wants to make homemade biscuits for me for breakfast and stuff. She talks about all the things.
Make it and she just mail it to you.
I know she could, but oh yeah, did I tell you what happened? That she got approved for being a TSA agent.
She did? Oh no, we hadn't found out yet. The last time she was.
Yeah.
that's good. I'm happy for her. So
Homeland Security,
where's she gonna go?
Homeland Security, TSA.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit, those are so she's a Fed now. Okay, cool.
Not yet. Basically,
yet, but
she got the contingent offer. She filed all her paperwork, and she has, I think, the 16th. They're going to start the process of onboarding her, and then she has to be vetted by the airport, by everything. They're going to interview her, and if she passes, then she's going to go to Glencoe for training in maybe April. May timeframe, and then she'll be assigned. She already knows where she's going.
Where?
Here's the thing,
and this is a very strange place, Madison, Wisconsin.
Here's the thing. Is she going to be handling any sort of thing that is classified information?
Probably not right away.
Will she be holding, or will she ever be handling shit that's considered classified information?
I do not know. I don't know. They basically,
because if she is, they will do a background check or over everybody around her, including you.
I don't think they're
you,
going to do
Mr.
that.
Conspiracy Theory.
Well,
They have to, because that would be considered a security risk.
Right. Well, again, we're not really married yet, so whatever. But again, she'll do it. But I have nothing to hide. You know, I deal with the government, unfortunately, all the time now with my disability bullshit. But no, but again,
not saying you do. But
her Twitter page her Twitter page is all filled with Trump this, Trump that, Biden bad, and all that stuff. So she is very vocal about her politics. We're getting, but her thing was for her name now is the Trump banner girl, but before it was Donald Trump lock up Joe Biden. that was her handle.
Lock up Biden.
Yeah. Basically.
Well, I would like everybody to tell us what they have planned coming up.
Oh yeah, we're almost done.
Week or whatever. Yeah, because we've been going for 2.5 hours, and it's almost midnight for me. It's 11:47.
After midnight, you'll let it all hang out. Those 9 inches.
I'm gonna go get me something to eat. Yeah, I might even go get me another bowl of snow.
Janet,
what?
Janet, you want to meet us? You want to meet us up?
What are you, Hunter Biden's hats?
Waffle House
with some snow.
We could go to Waffle House.
Well, Waffle House, as long as I don't have any of the toast, and they don't, cook the toast and stuff next to the yummy hash browns, because I love Waffle House.
Who doesn't?
I have one. I have to go straight, like I'm going towards the interstate, and then there's Waffle House down there.
So crazy.
As for what we're all doing and whatnot, well, later this Sunday, first off, weekly recap, and we're discussing National Treasure 2. We discussed last week National Treasure 1, great movie. Then the 1s and 2s with me and Mara on her channel Jade Shadow, 8:30 or 8 o'clock on that channel. We're going to be talking Rocky 1 and Rocky 2 this year or this month. And for the singles on Thursdays on X exclusively, either 8 or 8:30, we will be discussing Alita Battle Angel one day, and the next Thursday we will be discussing Nick Holt's movie Warm Bodies. It's a movie about a zombie who comes back to life. So yeah,
through the power of love.
Through the power.
I haven't seen that one.
Power of love.
You'd like it. You both should interview it. It is a very charming film per se, because again it's like she's go ahead.
I will say this: if you watch the bloopers, you will laugh your fucking ass off.
But again, it just proves that Nicholas Hoult is a good actor.
Oh yeah, he is definitely a good actor. Nothing against him with the he's playing Lex Luthor in the new.
Correct. No, he looks good. It looks good. He looks good.
He looks good. I'm just not going to watch that movie.
Again, I'm in the same boat. I have apathy toward Hollywood.
I won't watch any new.
It's not apathy towards Hollywood. It's James Gunn that I absolutely have disdain for.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
The dude hosted those very disgusting parties.
When Bucky becomes captain, I'll go watch a Captain America movie.
Yes.
When who becomes captain?
Bucky.
Bucky, the one who should have gotten the shield.
Well, yeah, in the comics, he does become Captain America, and yes,
Yeah.
eventually so does Sam in the comics. Also, in the comics, the Falcon is a mutant who could talk to birds.
You know what they should do?
But,
They should
yeah.
actually do. They should actually do like Wolverine kills the MCU or MCU, and just basically, I'm cleaning the timelines up.
Deadpool and
Deadpool
and
Wolverine
Wolverine
go
kill
out,
the
start taking
MCU.
care of it. Get
And
rid
then
of all of
if they actually had the balls to do that and follow up with it, they would win. They would win back some people. I wouldn't come back. I'm not coming back. But the idea that they would say, because again, who was the I don't know. We didn't discuss it, but the Zuckerberg. Oh yeah, we went too far.
I was wanting to,
Everybody's
but
like,
there's just so much there.
I know.
I needed to start earlier and have those subjects at the beginning to be able to because I have 3 more things I wanted to bring up.
Right.
But
Well, here's a quick thing on Zuck.
Well, let me.
Do I forgive him? No, that man still has a lot to do. Is he on the right track? Yes, he is. But I don't forgive him yet.
Right. Well, I'll let you know about me.
That's all I'll
Basically, basically I had I've been fairly busy because I'm trying to secure a client. I'm trying to finalize my disability claim. Today was the last interview. Again, I've been out of work since March of 2023. So it's finally done. It took what almost 2 years for it to get processed.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, but again, that's happening. Hopefully, with Trump coming in, the economy's going to get better, or at least people will start investing more. And I am posting content, but very limited on YouTube right now because I'm in the middle of that. But I have content out there on YouTube, on Substack. I have my video, my articles, my papers are going there. Rumble, X, and as soon as the spring comes around, hopefully next month or in March or April. As I know what's going on with Cheyenne and where she's going to be, where we will be living, because it's going to be Madison right now. That's where we're going to go, because I want her to expand and be an adult, do things outside their house. But as soon as it happens, there'll be more videos, more stuff, and I will be revamping my website, and it's going to be all about, we have to take responsibility now to change the culture, and it's all going to be about that. And I post out there on X, especially. I have articles out there, and I'm an orator. I speak. I'm a philosopher, and then that's what I'm doing. So I'm putting my stuff out there. So I'm going to start doing like what Charlie Kirk does, doing what Julian Assange. Basically, I'm gonna say I'll be a combination of Julian Assange, Edward Snowden, and Alex Jones. And Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
We have to stand up and we have to make a difference. That's the one thing that the election did. It basically said, we're done with this shit. We have to do something. And that's what I'm doing now. And I'm building my plan together. As soon as I get the money, I'm not going to go off and to the mountains and just sulk and just whatever. I'm going to get actively involved and go to the polls myself. Just kidding. Okay. So let's do it.
Well, Bruce, do you have anything you want to share?
Tomorrow, we're going to be going into the city of Dunamon on the live stream game for Alpha Test. And we'll be seeing exactly how the players are dealing with the demonic invasion, if they are. And we'll see how that turns out. I'm looking forward to about an 8 or 9 hour game. And then afterwards, me and Kai will discuss things a little bit, because we've been having some interactions with a few friends of ours on game rules, and I think it'd be a good discussion about rulings and various ways to educate in games. And then Sunday, you and I are discussing the 1994 comedy classic Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
I know, I'm so excited. I can't believe how excited I am.
The movie that movie is now being like considered, not what do you call it again? What's it called again? Hateful or whatever they call it. That thing.
I don't give a shit.
Because of the transgender thing.
Shit.
I know.
I think it's great.
I don't care about that.
I know. I'm just saying it's coming out now.
I told Bear today, I sent him a message to say, we're going to review, we're going to be watching, because he invited me to a movie or something, yesterday or last night. Right. And I said, I'm so sorry I missed it, because I didn't see it because I was trying to get my, just all my other stuff done. And And I told him, but Bruce and I are going to watch Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, and he's like, "Well, I'm not." So I said, "That's okay."
Yeah.
Because he says,
Yeah,
"I
we-
hate that movie."
Yeah, we need more offensive movies. I hope that the Naked Gun remake is more offensive toward Hollywood.
It's so
John
funny.
M.
He did
John
great.
M's offensive movies. So far, I just want to say this before we go. So far on Paramount Plus, there's this guy, or he's also on other things too. Taylor Sheridan. He's done shows like Landman,
Yellowstone.
Lioness.
Yellowstone.
Yeah, that guy. Yellowstone and them. He's been doing he's literally taking 80s and 90s style film or film story process and whatnot and putting them in a more modern, or putting them up to now. And I gotta say, he's actually doing such a great job. He's not afraid to show skin. And the thing is, the stuff that I'm seeing in the shows, a lot of people are like, well, there's always the gratuitous sex scenes and whatnot. Thing is, with Taylor Sheridan's writing, some of the sex actually makes sense. It's not just mindless fucking, you know?
Well, sex
Back
always
in the
makes
80s
sex
and
always
90s,
makes sense.
Sex scenes, no, back in the 80s and 90s,
If it
sex
didn't, we
scenes
wouldn't be here.
Sex got gratuitous in the 80s and 90s in film. But in the stuff that he's doing, he's actually taken the I don't give a fuck 80s, 90s style, and he's bringing it into today. Taylor Sheridan should be given freaking Writer of the Year.
Well, it's
for
not just that.
2024.
You got to remember, you got tons and tons of good stories out there. It's the people that actually have the money and the power to put the story on TV. That's who we should thank.
I do want
to hired Sheridan to do these jobs. That's who we should applaud, because that person is actually trying to give us entertainment.
Yeah, Janet, there was one. I know we're wrapping it up, but I did want to ask a question per se. We could answer it later or have a stream about it. It's very important. I don't watch the shows, but I did see the Jerry Jones clip on Twitter. But what I realized is what he's doing, if it's a writing style, he takes actual events that occur. As I know that when Jerry Jones did that scene, he was thinking about his own life. So what he does is he makes the stories authentic because they're talking about real things.
Yeah.
And that's what people are gravitating to. And that's the whole, the whole subject we've been talking about, how we all met, authenticity. So there is some authenticity, there's some truth to those shows because he's utilizing real storylines that actually happened from these people. And the idea of like going to the from 1883, going the frontier, all that stuff, 23 or whatever it is, it's relatable because it's a real thing. And that type of storytelling is what we need back. We need story because it does have a moral. It's a real event and it has consequences for actions. And that's what we need back, because right now we're basically saying the culture, it's like, oh, they can do whatever they want, and they get wrong, then they're forgiven. No, we don't want forgiven. We have to have some. You have to have some culpability for what you do. So we can talk later. But yeah, no, great stream. I really love this stream. Good night tonight.
Yeah, I always enjoy it. I always look forward to it. Yep. Yeah, I'm just this week. I'll be having. I had a great show last night with Dawn. She was in here earlier, and Chris, and then we've had two other guests that came on talking about vitamins and other things to help people who have been sickly because of something that happened to them in the last 4 years. I won't talk about it because I don't want to get in trouble. But the thing is, oh, she's so pretty.
Look at that. Very pretty. I know, but I know, but again, I just say it's funny. She sent me that.
The thing is that I'm trying to balance it out to where I'm going to try to keep the things that I know are hated on this channel. I'm going to talk about them because I did it last night after the show that I didn't have on this channel, YouTube. I only did it on Rumble and X. I tried to do it on Kick, but I still having a hard time trying to understand how come I can't go live on Kick. It's just not working, even though I'm following the directions. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But what's funny is I posted on X about the show, and I said come join us and watch this show, because this is the same topic we were talking about on YouTube, and the same guest that I had that YouTube has taken me down twice for medical misinformation. And I wrote on there, and I tagged YouTube on it, and they sent me a message saying, what it looks like your channel's up and running. And I said, yeah, now it is. And then I sent them a picture of why they took my channel down, the thing that they'd sent me saying that my channel was taken down for medical misinformation, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
So I sent them a picture of that. I haven't heard back from them, but it's funny. I said, it's funny how I post anything and tag you on it here on X, I can get a hold of you like that. But when I need to talk to somebody on Twitter, I can't get a hold of anybody. You can't find anybody to help you. So all you got to do is bitch and moan about them on X and tag them in whatever it is. Take pictures, tag them in it, show them how ridiculous it is, and maybe they'll get sick and tired of being dragged down.
Well,
especially since I said something about. We can only hope. I'm on YouTube doesn't like being talked about on a bigger, better platform. That's what I said. Oh well. Anyway, but I can't help it. I just think it's terrible that that you can't talk about certain things over here, but they have the right to do that. I mean, if they don't want, if they just want only people that show TNA or people piercing their genitals, stupid shit like that, or chicken videos, then that's all I'll put over here. I'm not going to put my genitals over here.
Next week is the last week of this stream under the Biden administration.
Oh, I know, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and according to this, Biden's getting ready to do more preemptive pardons.
Oh yeah, he's going to probably empty all the prisons and stuff. Like who knows?
Like Castro.
I mean, that'd be one way to get rid of all the ammunition.
Do what?
That'd be one way for us to test to see if all that ammunition works.
Yeah. I've been I've been cleaning my dad's house, and I've been bringing home boxes and boxes of bullets.
I don't want you guys to commit violence and all that stuff, but I do want you to be gardeners. I want you to be world-class gardeners with amazing gardens and lots of tomato plants.
Exactly.
But I want to say thank you to everybody who was hanging out with us tonight. We had right now we have 157 viewers.
Wow.
But it's midnight now for me, at least in Central Time. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you guys for joining me on the panel. I really appreciate it, and I just love it. And Bruce, it's gonna be terrifying. I do not want to ever see that in any of our games.
Oh, don't worry, Janet.
I know that's why you got it, because you're gonna have to eat one of us.
It'll be
Auto Dragon, nice.
Yes, beautiful.
Yeah, I got to get this one fixed, and then I got to get these 3 painted up, and I'll get the wings mounted after that. The wings are fucking huge.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's gonna be beautiful.
Fedora's got nothing on that one.
But I just want to say thanks, everyone, and I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and enjoy yourself. If you got cold weather, snuggle with someone you love under a nice cozy blanket. That's what I recommend.
If you could have Amazon in your neighborhood, they sell a $180 50-pound king size weighted blanket, a 50-pound king size weighted blanket. That is the best sleep therapy I've ever had in my life. I stopped snoring. I don't snore anymore. It does everything I'm supposed to have happen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like run away from bed anymore. I'm not like a little kid. I don't want to go to bed. Fuck no. When I get tired, I'm done. I'm going to bed. Fuck all of y'all. I'm going to go to sleep. And I feel like I'm dropping weight. I feel like I'm getting healthier.
Yeah. You wrap up like a burrito.
Oh, I don't even have to wrap up. It wraps me up. It just falls on me and I feel pinned. It's great. It's a thunder jacket. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like having a woman just set her juicy ass on my face, and I just go to sleep like that.
Oh God! Well, I don't know if it's juicy or not, but It's kind of scary if you think about it.
Oh my!
That's what she said. Just kidding.
But you guys have a wonderful weekend.
You see my Reddit,
Yes.
and I'm like, oh shit.
And I just want to say, God bless America. To
God bless
everyone.
America. Happy birthday, 6 Nations, 31 Kings.
Yeah, happy birthday. I'm
Happy
sorry
birthday.
we missed it. I didn't know about it. Because it was
That's all right. Him and I share a birthday, so it's good.
You youngster.
Oh, it's your birthday too?
Yeah, I turned 50
What?
today.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Oh my God. Bruce, you're a child.
Happy birthday.
I'm in the borrowed time section of life now.
No, you're
So
not. You're still...
did your parents call you?
What?
Did your parents call you?
We talked for about an hour and a half, 2 hours today.
Oh, that's good.
It was good.
No, you need it. You need to talk to your parents at least once a week. Try to make it a habit. Good
I
for
do
you.
it daily.
I talk to parents every day.
Oh, good. That's even better. So
Awesome one. Are you on the 5th? Are you on the 10th as well? Because me and Joshua are on the 10th of January.
Me?
No, awesome one. He says my birthday was 5 minutes ago.
Oh, that's
11th.
wonderful.
He's January 11th.
I know. I have a friend in Dallas that's birthdays today too.
That reminds me. I know
Awesome.
something.
He got
Oh, I
to
have
watch
someone who has
his
a birthday
favorite
today.
football team play
We gotta go.
for his birthday, so I'm sure he was happy about it. But I don't really care about football. But sorry, I know it's blasphemy, but my mom is a baseball fan. But I want to say good night, everyone. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening. And
First off, let me convey to my family, friends, and supporters that now is not the time to gloat. We must remember that most of our left-leaning friends are good people who want the same things in life as we do, but simply think differently on how to get there. It is now time to be the bigger man, to extend an olive branch and unite all reasonable people of this great nation. God has blessed America, and together with President Trump, we will make America great again.